Wendy Bell Radio is live.
Hey, good morning. Happy Monday. Happy December.
Yeah, already?
I know. It is way too fast. I am completely flabbergasted by that. But I hope you guys all had a wonderful weekend. It was weird having Friday off. Wasn't it weird? It was weird. It was weird. I mean, I managed to fill it by doing other things. However, I went Black Friday shopping. Who went Black Friday shopping? It took an hour and a half to get there and to park. That was the first sign. Brock looks like he is challenged right now. I'm not sure what's going on as he's staring intently at his...
I'm trying to do something that I was supposed to do that I didn't know I was doing.
Ah.
And if you want to do it, we can't.
Oh, well, you know what? As we're saying hello, it is Black Friday. And this is a pretty big Black Friday thing. Normally, Brock, what's the most you've ever seen the wellness company give as a discount?
It's usually 15%.
It's 10%. It's
Is
usually
it 10?
It's 10%. That's as big as it's ever gotten. This one's 25%. So they're giving you 2.5 times what their normal discount is. It's a pretty big deal. And the wellness company Cyber Monday sale off, well, it's live for 48 hours only, okay? So this is your once-a-year chance to outsmart Big Pharma, stock up on all the doctor-formulated wellness at great prices. That means you're going to save up to 25% site-wide, including 20% off. This is the big one. All of the emergency kits, all of the memberships. It's the perfect time this holiday shopping season to give the gift of health to the people you care of most. So the wellness company only dropping this deal once a year, again, 48 hours. Give your body the regimen it needs to maintain optimal health as you complete another grateful year of life while sliding into 2026 ready to be even better. Stay prepared with the emergency kits. Stock your cabinet with premium nutraceuticals. Check out the memberships as you plan your 2026 health cost analysis. The Wellness Company is everything you need to cyber shop your way to healthy habits. The sale ends Tuesday night, tomorrow night. So go to twc.health/Wendy for serious Cyber Monday savings. Again, you're going to get that up to 25% off discount. twc.health/Wendy. Okay, this is literally 48 hours of the entire 365 days that we do this. So it's a big one. It is a big one.
It's a biggie.
How's everybody? How's it going? I had to put on 4 or 5 pounds. Easy.
Oh.
Easy. And didn't care about it at all. I did not care about it at all. I've got another, 4 weeks to go, 3 weeks to go.
To lose it, to
gain it, to gain it, to then look in the mirror and be like, what's my resolution for 20? It's the same one every year. Eat, love, drink, all of it moderately and enjoy. That's what my motto is.
I gained a couple pounds and I didn't even have pumpkin pie.
You didn't. What did you do that was gonna give you the LBs, do you suppose?
Well, it's the turkey,
Everything?
It's the stuffing, it's the...
What?
There was apple pie, so I partaked in the apple pie. I partaked in a few libations.
Yes. It's okay. It's all good. Who's getting ready for this storm? Whatever is going on out there. There's apparently some severe winter weather. And
it's winter.
It is. It's not winter yet, though. No.
Well,
you've got a couple weeks.
December.
Yes, this is true. Let's see what. Oh my gosh, my hair is all the flip over the place. I dry my hair in the car on the way to work, and yeah, it was a little aggressive.
How was it having 20-some people at your house?
Wonderful, absolutely, best Thanksgiving ever.
Really?
Jack made a duck that was phenomenal. Ryan made a turkey that he brined for 24 hours in a bag and then injected with its own drippings like every hour for 6 hours. And he and I carved it together. It was a 25-pound bird. It was the most, I've never said in my life that I think turkey is delicious. It's sort of like, meh, whatever. This turkey, thanks Pounds Turkey Farm. Yeah, it was all that. How about you?
5 stars.
5 stars. Did you guys deep fry?
Yes.
How does that go?
It's good. It's moist. I know you hate that word, but it's like super tender. Their Yelp review for the weekend is leaves a little to be desired.
Oh, are you threatening to give bad reviews to the sister-in-law?
Jolene, and I said, I'm going to have to give my Yelp review of your services. And, a lot of things go into the Yelp. No pumpkin pie, real pumpkin pie.
Well, it was found in your glass,
Yeah. A nose hair in my coffee.
I don't know how you know it's a nose hair. How
It
do you
was
know
this long.
Well,
it was either that or an eyelash.
Well, what who looks at that and says I've
Well,
never
when you get to the bottom of the cup and it's sitting there and moves when you touch it.
Who's ever gotten a nose hair out? Like, I've never had a nose hair and been like, oh, look, it's a nose. Like, who does that? You freaky barbarian. Whatever.
Not me.
Yeah,
wasn't my nose hair.
You identified it, wacko.
It was there when I got to the bottom. It was
news.
like the Cracker Jack toy at the bottom.
3, 2, 1. Welcome to your daily dose of facts to fight off the liberal gaslighting.
You can be in the middle of a hurricane.
You have sanctuary in the city of Chicago.
Or you can be on a calm day. North is still north. You could be in a thunderstorm.
I am angry. We are not going back. Not ever.
North is still north. People can yell at you.
The hell with the Supreme Court. We will defy them.
North is still north. It doesn't change fundamental things. And in this business, right is still right, even if you stand by yourself.
We don't get fooled again. No.
Live across the fruited plain and from sea to shining sea, we're converting the Marxist left 1 hour at a time on the Wendy Bell radio program.
Well, hello and happy December, America. Welcome home to the Wendy Bell radio program. I hope we're finding you not hungover, but adequately stuffed from a wonderful Thanksgiving weekend. I hope it was safe for you. I hope you got to see people you love. I hope you got to slow down for a little bit because we're cranking it back up. It is a Monday. It is the beginning of a new month as we count down this year. It's wild to say that. WendyBellRadio.com is how you follow along the live video stream. I can proudly report to you, friends, that was on Friday or Saturday, that we hit 25 million video views of this program on our app and on Rumble. Thank you. Thank you for being here and welcome home. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. My experience working in the media for the better part of the last 3 decades it's kind of amazing how news sort of goes away around the holiday. There isn't usually, save for your house fire, your traditional holiday house fire that destroys everything and galvanizes a community's come together moment. There really isn't usually a lot of news. Boy, oh boy, was this Thanksgiving completely the opposite. President Trump, I believe, and the name of today's program, we try to give everything sort of a title, and it's The Dam Has Broken. Like, we've been seeing trickles. We've been seeing the water dribbling out. We've seen the faucet crank up a little bit from a trickle to a stream. There's now a full-on chunk of concrete on the dam that has blown loose, and it is just a matter of time before the whole thing gives way. Donald Trump, President of the United States, experienced a moment over the weekend that I believed flipped a switch into high gear. Not just for this president, but for his entire administration, which, by the way, though we are all frustrated by the lack of progress that we see because we wanted things fixed last Thursday, not in 2 years, this administration has done amazing things to unwind the suck that Joe Biden's auto pen and whomever the perpetrators were behind it foisted upon this great nation. But when Sarah Beckstrom died on Thanksgiving, after a guy who all of us would have said, as we looked inside that C-17 aircraft, whatever it's called, when they brought them all back from Afghanistan. And we looked inside of the photograph that Trump tweeted out over the weekend, truthed out over the weekend. Look, we all knew, as all of these people we've never seen before, who most assuredly were never vetted, were coming into this country. We all knew the potential for what happened the day before Thanksgiving happened. And that is for somebody who hates America, for whatever reason, who came into this country because Joe Biden's auto pen made it possible. It was just a matter of time before one of the people working to defend us, to protect us, would pay the price. And last Wednesday, it was Sarah, a 20-year-old who had just graduated from high school in 2023, from West Virginia, who in August was deployed to be part of President Trump's cleanup of Washington, D.C. Sarah, who took a shift working into the Thanksgiving holiday as she was away from family so that others in the Guard could go home, was shot at point blank range and died on Thanksgiving. And that was it. That was it. That was game over. That is gloves off. And so began a barrage of Trump truths, one after another after another. The dam has broken. This president is a grandfather. We know this. He has 11 grandkids. This president wants his legacy to be a gift to those 11 grandchildren and to yours. And that gift is, in the time that I have on this earth as president of the United States, I'm going to act with broad and sweeping authority within the parameters of the law, which is why he has an over 90% success rate with the Supreme Court. I am going to do everything in my power to do the unthinkable, to track down every single human being who crossed that border, all 20 million of them if need be, and we will vet them, and if they do not meet our requirements, and I'm going to go with they won't, they will be sent home. Goodbye. It's going to be ugly. You're going to hear people say, oh, it's a racist, xenophobic, nationalist. I don't care. This president dropped the gloves and said, game on. If you are here and you ought not be, and you know damn well who you are, you'd best get packing. Because when we find you, and we process you, and we bounce you, you will never, ever have the privilege of stepping foot on our soil or breathing our American oxygen again. Do you hear me? Is what the president said over the weekend. There has been enough death. There has been enough crime. There has been more than enough grifting. Just look at Minneapolis, Minnesota, all of it alone. Enough. And President Trump's barrage of truths put everyone from the third world on blast. If you came here waving your flag, wanting to steal from my people, and hurt our country, your days are numbered. At the same time, and it's no coincidence whatsoever, we have a literal flotilla. We have a complete U.S. Navy, whatever you would call it, ships aplenty, all across the Caribbean Sea, poised looking at Nicolas Maduro, saying, how you doing? See where we are? Do you see what we've asked you to do? Do you understand the parameters of the deal? No more death, no more drugs, no more fooling around. The dam has broken. You have a limited amount of time, President Maduro, to pack and scoot, because we mean business. Now, what you're going to hear today in some of the articles you and I will go over together is Democrats losing their ever-loving mind. Trump is pulling the plug on all of the grifts that apparently they've found profitable. He's deporting all of the people they've tried so hard to import in order to terrorize you or make your streets dangerous with gangs and drugs and otherwise. He has just told the entire planet, I'm done. Happy Thanksgiving, and thank you for your attention to this matter. So I get it. I understand that people are frustrated by the cost of living. I understand that people are stressed out about the job situation out there. I get it. I am too. But maybe for a moment, we the people should step back and take a look at the monumental pile of crap that Joe Biden and company left behind for this administration, with, by the way, all sorts of landmines planted around it to go off. This president is tackling an amazing thing. And he told the world, you killed one of our daughters. And it will not happen again. Let's talk about those truths. Let's talk about what he did, rounding up people. Let's look at the visas. Let's look at the green cards. Let's look at the people, and let's stop the flights. No more third country travel to the United States. And by the way, if you're from the third country, third world here, and you're packed and all settled in the United States of America, we're going to get you out. Mark his words. Let's go there next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. All right. I just noticed that after Sarah died, he went nutty. It was like this, da, 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 da. And then this was just an hour ago. I'll read it when we get back because it's like, it tells you everything that he's saying. He's saying, hey, Mark Kelly, by the way, you think you're going to slither out of this if you're going to be the example and you have to go to prison for 10 years because of it? Okay, game on. Trump just dropped the exact U.S. law that seditious Senator Mark Kelly and other congressional Democrats violated. And he puts it out there, and I'm going to read it to you when we get back because it's absolutely unequivocal what he is saying.
I think what people misunderstand is when they say, oh, he's not worrying about the homeland, like he's worried more about peace. The fact of the matter is deporting all these people will make things more affordable. Will make housing more affordable because it'll be available to everyone. It's getting rid of the SNAP benefits. It's your tax money.
And who was using it? Where were they using them? Wait a minute. I thought you said that not a single migrant was getting any of our benefits.
Or voted.
What? I want to tell you about Healthy Cell. Healthy Cell came in multiple times this weekend. Two of my sons, as we were all together at home, really struggling with sleep. Different reasons why, but mostly because they've got a lot going on in their worlds and their minds are obviously not shutting down enough so that they can relax and fall asleep. And you do that over a sequential series of nights, right? That was redundant, but you know what I mean. And it really takes its toll on you. And they both looked bleary-eyed. And I was like, here, you have to take some Healthy Cell. I gave Ryan a bunch of Healthy Cell to take back to Tennessee. And one of my other kids is taking it now too. And I'm like, look, try this and see how it makes you feel. It's like, and we've all done the NyQuil trick where you're exhausted and you're like, I just have to take a hit of NyQuil so I can pass out. Except the next morning you feel like you got hit by a truck. That's not what Healthy Cell is all about. Healthy Cell is about delivering phenomenal supplementation to you through a microgel system. So, and Michael even said, he looked at it, he's like, what? I'm just supposed to squeeze this in like a go-go squeeze? And I'm like, yeah, that's exactly. This is the focus and recall I take. 165% more absorbable as your stomach acid changes as you get older. It's harder to break down pills and tablets. So they put it in this microgel. Easy to do, delicious flavor. And then Michael's like, does it taste like butt? And I'm like, no, it's delicious. And he took it. He's like, that's weird. I'm like, I know, right? Everything about this is innovative. It is revolutionary and it works. Healthycell.com/Wendy. Your first order, 20% off. Check it out. I swear by it. I don't lie to you. Enough said. Healthycell.com/Wendy. How you doing? Anyway, I appreciate what the president has said here, and I can't wait to talk about this. We will. Law. Welcome back to this Monday edition, December 1st of the Wendy Bell radio program. He just posted within the hour this very thing on Truth Social. He says, do what has to be done. There are laws that impact our nation, he writes. Read Title 18, Chapter 115, Section 2387. Make an example or it happens again. And I was like, what's that? So I decided to search that. Well, this is a section of U.S. law that delineates activities affecting the armed forces. And this section criminalizes actions intended to interfere with the loyalty, the morale, or the discipline of the U.S. military or naval forces. And this is what it says. Whoever, and think about Mark Kelly, Senator Kelly, think about Alyssa Slotkin, think about these congressmen and women. 6 of them Democrats who put out that video encouraging active duty military to resist the commander-in-chief, to resist Secretary of War Pete Hegseth. This is what they have done. Whoever with intent to interfere with, impair, or influence the loyalty, morale, or discipline of the military or naval forces of the United States, who advises, counsels, urges, or in any manner causes or attempts to cause insubordination, disloyalty, mutiny, or refusal of duty by any member of the military or naval forces of the United States, or distributes or attempts to distribute any written or printed material which advises, counsels, or urges insubordination, shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 10 years or both, and shall be ineligible for employment by the United States or any department or agency thereof for the next 5 years following his conviction. President Trump putting it out on a silver platter. This Senator Kelly, this Senator Slotkin, and others is what I believe you are guilty of. That is today's post, encouraging the Department of Justice to do something that's justice oriented. Over the weekend, this is what the president truthed out. This was on Thanksgiving, 1 million views. This is part of the horrendous airlift from Afghanistan. It's the picture inside the huge aircraft with all sorts of people from Afghanistan packed inside. Hundreds of thousands of people, he said, poured into our country totally unvetted and unchecked. We will fix it, but we will never forget what crooked Joe Biden and his thugs did to our country. What? And then, after Sarah Beckstrom died, Army specialist with the National Guard, this is what he put out later in the evening. A very happy Thanksgiving salutation to all of our great American citizens and patriots who've been so nice in allowing our country to be divided, disruptive, carved up, murdered, beaten, mugged, and laughed at, along with certain other foolish countries throughout the world for being politically correct and just plain stupid when it comes to immigration. The official United States foreign population stands at 53 million people, most of which are on welfare from failed nations or from prisons, mental institutions, gangs, or drug cartels. They and their children are supported through massive payments from patriotic American citizens who, because of their beautiful hearts, do not want to openly complain or cause trouble in any way, shape, or form. They put up with what has happened to our country, but it's eating them alive to do so. A migrant earning $30,000 with a green card will get roughly $50,000 in yearly benefits for their family. The real migrant population is much higher. This refugee burden is the leading cause of social dysfunction in America, something that did not exist after World War II. As an example, hundreds of thousands of refugees from Somalia are completely taking over the once great state of Minnesota. Somalian gangs are roving the streets looking for prey, as our wonderful people stay locked in their apartments and houses, hoping with hope that they will be left alone. The seriously retarded governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz, does nothing, either through fear, incompetence, or both, while the worst congressman/woman in our country, Ilhan Omar, always wrapped in her swaddling hijab and who probably came into the U.S. illegally, and that you are not allowed to marry your brother, does nothing but hatefully complain about our country, its constitution, and how badly she is treated when her place of origin is a decadent, backward, and crime-ridden nation, which is essentially not even a country for lack of government, military, police, and schools. Even as we have progressed technologically, immigration policy has eroded those gains and living conditions for many. I will permanently pause migration from all third world countries to allow the U.S. system to fully recover, terminate all of the millions of Biden illegal admissions, including those signed by Sleepy Joe Biden's auto pen, and remove anyone who is not an asset to the United States or is incapable of loving our country, end all federal benefits and subsidies to non-citizens of our country, denaturalize migrants who undermine domestic tranquility, and deport any foreign national who is a public charge, security risk, or non-compatible with Western civilization. What? These goals will be pursued with the aim of achieving a major reduction in illegal and disruptive populations, including those admitted through an unauthorized and illegal auto pen approval process. Only reverse migration can fully cure this situation. Other than that, happy Thanksgiving to all, except those that hate, steal, murder, and destroy everything that America stands for. You won't be here for long. Any questions? When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, let's talk about America's Somalia problem. Oh boy, it's heating up. Next. I'm pretty sure that last truth says it all. We're coming for you. Get out. Get out. And I don't care if you want to call me names, if you want to say I'm mean, that I'm heartless. We don't care. We're done. Screw you. Goodbye. Suck it. The good people of this country have paid enough. But when they start killing our sons and daughters, that is war. And Donald Trump has now launched a warful attack on this. Period. I'm excited. I think that's a good way to wake up on a Monday.
I think the point is, if you're talking to a liberal, is to say, break it down from the country, because not everybody's affected. Say, if someone comes into your home illegally, takes your bedroom, eats your food, drives your car,
and then
without asking,
and then sleeps with your wife,
and then all you have to do,
right?
You can't do anything.
Right.
They're just going to do it. How's that make you feel? Would you let that happen in your house? Because who's going to say, "Oh yeah, come into my house"?
Yeah, anytime. Sounds reasonable.
Yeah. Totally. I
Gloves
came in
off.
through the window.
I'm
but,
gonna tell
you know,
I'm gonna tell you Sarah's death. I think that was it. I think he snapped. I think that was
I think
I think that was that.
the majority of America
Yeah.
is okay with that.
Yeah. Yeah. Is okay with his snap? I agree. 100%. Oh my.
And him calling Tim Walz a retard. I think what he does is he does that so when they lose
They're gonna focus on
they
one
focus
word.
on one word.
Yeah, you missed everything else because you fell for it. You took the bait. That's so offensive. Well, you know what? I'm offended that people are freaking dying because they're getting shot at point blank range. So I'm going to go with, one of those works for me. Let me tell you, it's nice to have good people to talk about. And I do have good people because I have wonderful sponsors. And I want to tell you guys about one in particular, Texas Bullion Exchange. WendyLovesGold.com. And, I've got things I'm supposed to say. They say, put your family back on the gold standard. They say the dollar has lost roughly 90% of its purchasing power since we left the gold standard back in 1971. But gold has gained over 7,000% in that same time. Gold doesn't inflate, it reveals inflation. So you're trading your paper promises for tangible assets. I think that's a way I've never even looked at it before. And if you're looking at the price of gold and silver right now, with all of the stuff that's going on with development, with AI, with all of the precious metals that are going to be needed in order to power this next wave of innovation, et cetera, it's a really good time to have precious metals in your portfolio or in your hot little hand. And you can do so by calling Texas Bullion Exchange. WendyLovesGold.com. WendyLovesGold.com. I'm a customer of theirs. I've made 2 purchases, and I'm delighted by what we've gotten. I love them and their service. 855-927-5557. It's just they make it easy. They just make it easy, and it should be easy. You should be able to count on people telling you the truth and giving you good information. That's what you get. WendyLovesGold.com.
Gold jumped too.
Did it? Yes, I was listening on the stock report when I was getting in this morning.
Almost $20, 1940.
Wow. Wait a minute. What do you mean 1940?
It's up $19.40.
Gotcha. So what is it now an ounce? 50
42, 41, 30.
42. Okay. I'm telling you, it's just going to keep going up and up and up. So if you want to sit back and you want to enjoy watching things grow rather than your debt, this is it. I love gold and silver. It's very exciting to be a part of, I will say. And that's
over $57.
And that's what I was thinking of. I was thinking of silver.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
A year ago, literally a year ago,
When
they sent the silver bar to me.
Yes.
It was $33.
Yes. Holy cow. See what I do for you? Facilitate growth.
They sent it.
Really? They sent it. How did they find out about it? Oh, I don't know.
It's a national. It should be my birthday should be a national holiday.
Right. Maybe because I called to 855-927-5557 and said, give me some gold and silver stat.
And Wendy hasn't shown it yet, but we have a mock-up of the new mug. Not done, so
I love the design.
Just a mock-up.
Isn't that fantastic? So it's either going to be a sharp edge or it's going to be kind of a blurred and faded. I like the faded. What do you guys think? And then this is the red is a mistake, but we'll fix it. And it's too big.
Yeah, we're going to make it smaller.
That's the typewriter font, and then we're going to bring it down to be smaller here. I don't think it needs to scream it to you. I think north is still north as you're drinking and looking at my fabulosity. Anyway, this is what we're working on, and I love this style. I think Jolene did a really nice job on that. So thank you for being there and monitoring that for me, Brock. Darius, you just want me to take your money? What are you saying? What's Darius? What is
Probably
he encouraging
nonsense.
me to do? I'll take your money,
nonsense.
sweetness. gosh, do I need that this morning? Welcome back to the Wendy Bell Radio program. As always, a true delight to be with you. Wendy Bell Radio, if you want to get our podcast downloaded onto your phone, just search your podcast store for that. Wendy Bell Radio, you'll get us. 6 million people have already downloaded us onto their devices. So excited that you're part of our family. You guys, this whole Minnesota thing, you know, I feel so passionately for the workers there who have been trying to blow the whistle since like 2017, that there's been stuff going on in Minnesota that's been so backwards. It's been so wrong. And then after COVID and this ridiculous multi-trillion-dollar CARES Act nonsense, that anybody with an even partially logical mind would have said, there's no way to account for trillions and trillions of dollars. You are inviting scams and grifts aplenty. And it's like, no duh. One's been going on to the tune of billions of dollars. In fact, there is a group in Minneapolis of whistleblowers, 480 workers who work in like HHS there, who've been aware of all of this Somalian grifting since COVID. And they've tried desperately to sound the alarm. They've been retaliated against, they say, by Tim Walz, the lackey governor. And look, you can all get into a jam thinking about the president, calling him retarded, and say, that's not a nice thing to say. We are so well beyond semantics. I really don't care at all about your feelings. And in fact, I think the majority of people who will never forget what the deep state has done to us are well past caring. You get to a certain point in your life and you're like, gloves off, bring it. Let's do it. I don't care. He said he's retarded. Trump did. Well, you know what? The reality is he's just corrupt. Tim Walz is. And Rich McHugh over at News Nation did a little expose looking into this feeding our future garbage, which now has like 80 odd people, most of them Somalians, indicted for the most outrageous claims that anybody who was paying attention would have been able to flag. That's how dark, deep, and dirty this fraud was in Minnesota. We're going to say during COVID, when people are told to stay home and they aren't working and money is tight, that we're going to provide this service. We're going to feed hungry children in Minnesota, right? And we're going to be so obnoxious about how many meals we're going to say we're going to provide on a daily basis. It's going to be something like 4 times the amount of children in the actual state. And we're going to say that we're feeding that many people, that many kids every day. Nobody batted an eye. And yet there were whistleblowers behind the scenes saying, wait a minute, stop. You guys understand what's going on. They were retaliated against. They were fired. They were doxxed. You guys understand how it works. So over at News Nation, Rich McHugh does a dive into these Somalians that have stolen, and they say it's now well beyond $1 billion, into the billions of American taxpayer dollars, as now nearly 90 people, 92% of them Somalian immigrants, have been indicted. Here is Rich McHugh, and he's just setting up the table here briefly with this whole feeding our future scam, which was the COVID money to feed kids who didn't exist and most assuredly were never fed.
We spoke with current and former federal sources, and they tell us billions have been stolen since 2019, that Minnesota is just riddled with fraud, and that a lot of this money goes back to Somalia, and a cut of all that money has gone to the Al-Qaeda-linked terror group Al-Shabaab. But I want to reset this for viewers because it's complicated. This all stems from Feeding Our Future. That's the largest COVID fraud ever. These criminals opened more than 200 federal child nutrition program sites throughout Minnesota, and sites lied, claimed to be serving meals to thousands of children a day. They created fake attendance rosters, fake invoices, and the government reimbursed them.
And the government reimbursed, and the government either wasn't paying attention or was obviously in on the grift. the state. Then Rich McHugh walks down the street with a gentleman who's a former Minnesota state senator. And this guy is like, look, this is one of the restaurants where this feeding our future scam took place. And he drops some really unbelievable data. Here you go.
David Gaither, he's a former state senator here. He saw this firsthand.
Rich, this is the Safari restaurant in downtown Minneapolis. This is the epicenter of some of the biggest fraud and waste and abuse in this area. The owner right now is currently in jail, federal jail. This restaurant, which seats about 35, supposedly served 18,000 plus meals a day.
A day?
A day for 7 months. 18,000 plus.
Now, Minnesota Rep. Ilhan Omar, she was a fixture at this restaurant, the Safari, during her run for office. I think we have a photo of her at the restaurant with her supporters in 2018. Feeding Our Future, that's that corrupt nonprofit. It was the epicenter of it, but others spawned from it. There were home relocation services, child autism. They were bilking $399 million in services fraud in 2023 alone. To date, 86 people have been indicted and counting. Federal authorities tell News Nation 79 of them are of Somali descent.
That would be 92%. Now, Minnesota most assuredly has a Somalia problem. Why are we importing tens of thousands of people from a third world country without a government, right, into our country so that they can rip us off and send the money back home to their terror networks so they can continue the rinse and repeat cycle? Makes no sense. Of course, it's not supposed to. So 18,000 meals inside one restaurant that has seating for 36. 18,000 meals a day, every day, for 7 months. So we did the math. Let's just presume, if we will, that for 7 months, 24 hours a day, that one little place was serving 18,000 meals, right? That would be 750 meals an hour. They would be serving 13 meals every single minute for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for 7 months. And nobody thought that was ridiculous. Are you out of your mind? The thing that is the most egregious is how ridiculous their claims are. It's like the ridiculous nature of the Steele dossier. It's not enough for Christopher Steele to have tucked in there for Fusion GPS, Hillary Clinton, and the DNC, that President Trump was so obsessed with Barack Obama, he went to sleep in a bed that Michelle and Barack slept in somewhere. They had to ramp it up with something so preposterous. And he had prostitutes come in. Yeah. And urinate all over him because that makes sense. Now, anybody with a modicum of common sense would look at that and be like, what you talking about, Willis? That is the dumbest thing ever. You lost me at the minute you got prostitutes urinating on Donald Trump involved, right? You lost me when you said it was 18,000 meals a day. Does nobody there do basic math? Apparently not in Somalia. And they have gotten rich off of it. Kristen Welker has Tim Walz on over the weekend. Can you believe this guy was this close to being the vice president of the United States? Like, what? She's got him on and she's like, look, she says, Trump is targeting Somalians in your state for billions of dollars of fraud. I'm not so sure Donald Trump is targeting anyone. He's saying, however, we know who you are and we know what you're doing. If that equals targeting, okay, listen to the exchange.
Well, speaking of the Somali community, President Trump is targeting them and your state in part. He's citing fraud as the reason for his crackdown. Dozens of people of East African descent have been charged, convicted, and sentenced for stealing more than $1 billion in taxpayer money from government programs during COVID. As you know, Governor, that is more than Minnesota spends each year to run its Department of Corrections. So I want to give you a chance to respond to this. Do you take responsibility for failing to stop this fraud in your state?
Well, certainly I take responsibility for putting people in jail. Governors don't get to just talk theoretically. We have to solve problems. And I will note, it's not just Somalis. Minnesota is a generous state. Minnesota is a prosperous state, a well-run state. We're AAA bond rated, but that attracts criminals. There's a reason Minnesota ranks as the top. Lowest childhood poverty, best place for children to live. People are taking advantage of that. They're going to prison. That is totally disconnected with demonizing an entire group of people who came here fleeing civil war and created a vibrant community that makes Minnesota and this country better. But that's Donald Trump. Deflect, demonize, come up with no solutions. He's not going to help fix anything on fraud. My God, there's a big difference between fraud and corruption is something he knows about.
Wasn't that slick? This is what Democrats do. Take no accountability, pivot, and blame Donald Trump. Really? Well, he's not the one who's in charge of Minnesota. That would be you, Governor. And you've allowed what could be as much as $8 billion of fraud. In fact, after the break, we're going to chew over some of those numbers. According to whistleblowers, it'll light your hair on fire. Meantime, President Trump taking questions as he does. And there is a reporter saying, tell us a little bit about Somalia. Listen to what the president has to say about Ilhan Omar.
Somalians have caused a lot of trouble. They're ripping us off for a lot of money. There's a tremendous amount of money going back to Somalia. What the hell are we paying money to Somalia for? But they're ripping off our country at a level that few people have been able to see before. That's about the only thing. You talk about competence. We have Ilhan Omar, who does nothing but complain about our country and our Constitution. And she comes from a country with practically no country. It's devastated. It's crime-ridden. It's a mess. It's a disgrace. And we took their people at tremendous. We're not taking their people anymore. We're not taking their people. And we're getting a lot of their people out because they're nothing but trouble.
Because they're nothing but trouble. Now, this is where the left says, well, you can't demonize an entire population. That's what Tim Walz says. You can't just go after an entire group of people because of the fraudulent actions of a few. Yeah, we can. In fact, yeah, we can. So if you're part of that whole group, whether you're involved in that or not, you're getting bounced. And that is what is coming now. President Trump taking no prisoners. If you're from a third world country, one, you're not allowed in here. And number two, pack up your bags and get your orders in array because you're about to be deported. Oh my, boxers in a bunch for the deep state. Let's go over the numbers. How much has been stolen? According to the whistleblowers, next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network.
Don't you love how they say you can't demonize the whole group? Isn't that what they've done to MAGA?
Yeah.
Isn't that what they did to J6ers?
Extreme MAGA Republicans, Brock. That's what they are.
Remember when the feds had their people? They demonized everyone.
Yep.
Their hypocrisy knows no end.
It is astonishing. I 100% agree with you. I also am very excited. Do you know who's come back to us this week? Iceman.
Oh.
I know. Chefman.com. Promo code Wendy to save 30%. It is Cyber Monday week. We're going to celebrate that with Iceman, Chefman. It's loading very slowly. So here we go. This is what they have now. You ready? This is amazing. 30% off on everything at chefman.com. Why didn't we wait? We're so dumb. The indoor pizza oven. Oh, yeah, they have an indoor pizza oven. Forget delivery with one-touch presets. You're going to get authentic restaurant-quality pizza in minutes. Crispy crust, gooey cheese, every time. Perfect for family nights, game day gatherings. Then there's the Obliterator blender, which I have and is amazing. Not just powerful, it's smart. Toss in fruits, veggies, ice, even nuts. It crushes everything with auto blend technology, sensing your ingredients and adjusting the speed for silky smoothies, creamy shakes, and even hot soups. No guesswork, just perfection. Then there's the slushie maker. Turn any party into a hit. Kids love the colorful slushies. Adults love the frozen cocktails. Easy to use, easy to clean. Make it your new holiday tradition. And then there is the brand new ice cream maker.
Oh,
It ain't just ice cream. It's ice cream, frozen yogurt, sorbet, sherbet, Italian ice, all from your own kitchen. Customize flavors, control the ingredients, and serve up happiness in minutes. Why settle for ordinary when you can make it extraordinary? Chefman.com. 30% off using the promo code Wendy. Chefman.com/Wendy. And then at checkout, throw in another Wendy for the 30% off. Shut up. I'm so annoyed now. Ah! We're so dumb. You realize that, right? That silence is his acknowledgement that we are dumb. And we put in our order for the oven for one of my kids and for something else without using them.
that ice cream.
What do you mean? You have it?
No, but
Is that your jam now that you're not really eating? You've broken up with Little Debbie?
yeah. I have an ice cream maker.
You bought it for Kate, didn't you?
Kate, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But she makes healthy ice cream, so you can eat the whole thing.
Right.
And there's hardly any calories to it.
What do you use instead of their, like, sugar and what have you? Is it honey or whatever?
I have no idea.
Wow.
I don't even know how to use
granular data.
I don't know how to
plenty
use it.
here on the Wendy Bell radio program.
I say, hey, can you make some? That's what I do.
2.16. Come on, we have 9 minutes.
Second Amendment, new ones, gifts, AR magazines are here. They will be on sale on Friday. So you have 4 days to get ready. So I'm going to mention it every day so no one can say,
we have a
I
very
didn't know.
limited supply. We're going to reintroduce the first generation. This is the Second Amendment. And then the second one is Clarence Thomas's North is Still North.
Yes.
Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. You know, I have to ask, if you're one of those people like I am, who goes to work and you work hard and you invest back into your company and you save and you scrimp and you innovate and you brainstorm and you spitball and you try new things and you roll the dice and then you get boned by taxes, right? Which you pay. You've got to be so upset over the grifting that's been going on in this country because you and I have been paying for it. I'd like to know what percentage of the taxes that I pay, which are exorbitant, so are yours. How much of that goes directly to Al-Shabaab in Somalia? Because you know some of it does. Well, there is a group, the Department of Human Services. That's what I was struggling to say. I had said HHS. So it's Department of Human Services employees. This is in Minnesota. It's a group of about 480 current and former members. They say they have uncovered as much as $10 billion of fraud because of the Somalian nightmare in Minnesota in the last handful of years. This is what they write. This is an actual X account, and you should follow it. If you are part of our Locals family, locals.com, search Wendy Bell Radio. We give you our entire rundown every single day. It's like $5 a month. It's ridiculously cheap. You'd get this link. This is what they say. Minnesota Department of Human Services employees. They say Tim Walz is 100% responsible for massive fraud. He knows of fraud. He knew of fraud early on, hoping for a partnership in stopping fraud, but no, we got the opposite response. He systematically retaliated against whistleblowers using monitors, threats, repression, and did his best to discredit fraud reports instead of partnership. We got the full weight of retaliation by Tim Walz, certain members of his party, and indifferent mainstream media. It is scary. It is isolating, and it has left us wondering who we can turn to. In addition to retaliating against whistleblowers, Tim Walz disempowered the Office of the Legislative Auditor, allowing agencies to disregard their audit findings and guidance. Media and politicians supporting Tim Walz or his agenda attacked whistleblowers who were trying to raise red flags on fraudulent activities. And this is a cascade of systematic failures leading up to Tim Walz. Agency leaders appointed by him willfully disregarded rules and laws to keep fraud reports quiet, even to the extent of threatening families of whistleblowers. Think about that. If what these people say is true, and I have no need to doubt them or reason to at this point, what Tim Walz just said as he pivoted from his own culpability for not just allowing this to go on under his nose. He may be, in fact, pushing back against people trying to stop it. As staff, they say, we witnessed firsthand and observed fraud happening, yet we were shut down, reassigned, and told to keep quiet, and sometimes even more. Leadership did not want to appear to discriminate against certain communities and were unwilling to take action, such as stopping fraud, that would have an adverse effect on their image. To date, no single agency leader has been held responsible for their role in fraud, whether, and it's all these names, people, all of these names. It is a structure created and maintained by Governor Walz, who has created an environment of interrelated agencies and institutions, including the media, that help foster fraud through retaliation and turning a blind eye in exchange for political gain in the form of high-power agency leadership jobs or other perks. And then there's this. Fundamentally, these whistleblowers say Tim Walz is dishonest, lacks ethics and integrity, has poor leadership abilities, has never, ever taken any accountability for his role in the fraud. Instead, he deflects by blaming national politics for his own failings and distracts the public with lying. And they say they believe the number is closer to $10 billion stolen just from Minnesota. Which is why I found it curious that Trump has suggested Ilhan Omar, the congresswoman who married her brother, right? Who lied and broke immigration laws, should be thrown out of the U.S. over claims that she married her brother. President Donald Trump, according to Breitbart, suggesting that Omar should be removed, referencing allegations that she supposedly entered the country by marrying her brother. He wrote, Somalia, where you have a congressman going around telling everybody about our Constitution, yet she supposedly came into our country by marrying her brother, Trump said while speaking to reporters on Air Force One. Well, if that's true, she shouldn't be a congressperson, and we should throw her the hell out of our country. Indeed. Why should she be allowed to stay? If you're not going to hold anybody accountable, but you are going to lie about January 6ers and you're going to throw them away for life sentences, Houston, we've got a problem. When we come back, hour number 2 of the Wendy Bell radio program, my friends, we're going to talk about this. It's not just the Somalians. The Trump administration wants all third world immigrants deported. How serious are they? Next. All right, let's talk about the healthy fat. Dr. Gunn, what a gift. What a gift. You know, you want to give something to somebody. It's not, it's not a new handbag. It's not jewelry. I'm going to give you a gift that's going to help you achieve your goals. And if your goals are, as they always are at this end of the year time, to reevaluate how you take care of you, then I highly encourage you go to thehealthyfat.com/Wendy. The Healthy Fat, this is Dr. Gundry's drink mix. And it's not just some drink mix where he's like, oh, I'll give you electrolytes and you'll feel better. It's like, no, it's real ingredients tested by him, created by him into a drink that is a meal supplement, a dietary supplement that also encourages your body to release calories that it's just kind of hanging on to that we'd all like to lose. He lost 70 pounds, almost 80 pounds, Dr. Gundry did, almost 80 pounds. And he's kept it off for decades. And he says he's seen people do it. Thousands of them do it thanks to this. So I drink it. That's my lunch every day. I start drinking it in the morning. And I will tell you, without it, I am ravenous at about 2 p.m. With it, I feel nothing until shortly before dinner time. That's how a lot of people lose weight. thehealthyfat.com/Wendy. It's absolutely stonewalls your cravings. And it's deliciously sweet. Any of the 3 flavors, the watermelon lemonade, then is there a raspberry medley or something like that? And then the blueberry one, which is like, blah, blah, blah. They're delicious. It's like 25 calories or whatever. Negligible in terms of bad for you. So good in helping you lose weight. I think you're going to really like it. thehealthyfat.com/Wendy. How's everybody? How you doing? Let's see how many people are here. 8,400. Holy cow. But only 2.34. Come on. We got to hit 2.5 rumbles. You know I really like 277. I mean, I don't think that's too much to ask. 300 rumbles from new people. So if you've never done that before, you're like, what is she talking about? It's that bubble underneath me. If you just scroll up your page, you'll see that it's got a thumbs up and a thumbs down. And if you hit that, that's called rumbling. It's like your vote for how we're doing. And it helps us get on the leaderboard and get people to pay attention to us and find great products that I think are fun and innovative and neat for you to try. So I thank you for that. So let's get up to 277. I think we can do it. We've already hit 2.41. We're 90 away from the 2.5. But I think bigger with you people. Tim Walls, you know. It's just, it's hard to stay focused and not want to throat punch somebody and throw them down the stairs. The Rumble Alexander Petrocius says the Rumble button is acting in a peculiar fashion. I'll make it more family friendly there. Hello, Karen, Cat Mom, how are you? Oh, I was rated? Why? Who's the Bald Brad Show? Hi, Bald Brad Show. How you doing? I don't understand how that works. How does that work? They just come and they're like, hey.
Someone on their chat, his channel or he himself raids it. There's
Thanks.
a way to do it.
Bald Brad, who looks like he's got a thick head of hair in the picture I'm looking at.
Froggy 1776.
Oh, no, he doesn't. He looks bald.
Did you mention Froggy?
Sorry, Bald Brad. I did not. I did not mention Froggy.
Merry Christmas, Wendy and Brooke. $100. He's trying to buy your love.
I am cheap and easy, but that was so nice of you. Thank you. 8477 watching. All right, so we're right in the commercial break if you're new to the show. Hi. Thank you. We put the whole thing out there, live video stream. I think what we talk about is very common sense. It's not complicated. But I'm not so sure there are a lot of conservative women out there gabbing about it. You guys, we're going to get into some deeper stuff, too. I've had some conversations with my sons. When I say this to you, and I'm going to ask you, who do you believe is going to be the next Republican candidate for president? Put down who you think it is. Let's see what you guys say. All right. Just I'll give you like a minute as you guys are all rumbling as well. I'm going to give you a minute. 257. We're 200 away from the all elusive 2.77 rumbles I like. Who do you guys think it's going to be? Who do you want it to be? Yes. You all say the same thing. Fans. Well, you know what? The young man in this country has a different point of view. And the Republican Party better be paying attention to it. This is where Trump's loss of young men, like 35 points recently. It's huge. But Michael has been sharing some things with me to give me a window into men, particularly young men, of which I have 5, so I should probably be in the know. And I think it's very interesting. He opened up my mind to some of the reasons why the younger generation of male voters isn't answering JD Vance when I ask that question. Who do you think is the next after Donald Trump? And we're going to explore those things in the months ahead, I am sure. So, kind of interesting. I'm constantly growing, constantly hearing from new people. And when it's your own kid, and you're like, why do you say that? And then he sends me videos, and I was like, So I'm going to start opening that door to that conversation to you guys here soon. I know, but we've got to know in 2036, we're going to have 60% of the electorate be from millennials down. So they're going to be the majority. So we got to start paying attention to what these people are talking about. I am, at least. So anyway, I'm so glad you're here. Bald Brad, thank you for rating. Now, if you could tell 140 people to click it or ticket, 263 is great. I'm super pumped. Let's go. And I have 2 more thumbs downs. How you doing? Gotta have haters too. Bongino is your second, Sabrina says.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wendy Bell, America's anchor mom, fighting for America 1 hour at a time. Welcome to the family.
We're going to win so much. We're going to win at every level. We're going to win economically. We're going to win with the economy. We're going to win with military. We're going to win with health care and for our veterans. We're going to win with every single facet. We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.
3 hours of bold truth and excellence. You've just signed up for the WBR Army. Strap in. This is the Wendy Bell radio program.
Well, welcome back. Hour number 2 of the Wendy Bell radio program is live. You know, it's not just the Somalians that President Trump is honing in on. It is a lot more than that. And it started last Tuesday in a truth about Burma. I was thinking, I'm like, what's going on with Burma? President Trump and Secretary Noem, see, I hate when my computer does this. Stop it. Have revoked the temporary protected status for citizens of Burma. So what does that mean? It means you can be bounced. It means that you don't have some kind of a blanket immunity. You don't get some like, well, these are your training wheels. We're going to put you over here and you don't have to worry about anything. We'll get to you later. It's like, no. You don't get some kind of protection. I don't know why you would have gotten it anyway, right? I'm not so sure what thousands of Burmese citizens who have been living in this country, right? They now have to leave America by March. Literally, he's giving them a timetable. He's like, yeah, about you guys, this is your time to depart. We're going to do this in an orderly. This is like being at Disney World, right? If you want the buses to the Magic Kingdom, they're over there. If you're going to Epcot, over there. If you want to go to so-and-so, there, right? You are from Burma. You've got to bail by March or we will find you and you will be forcibly deported. Say what? And I was like, wait a minute. That's kind of a weird thing on the like Tuesday of Thanksgiving week to talk about. And then it got increasingly more serious. This was posted by President Trump and Noem on Thanksgiving, right? This is about lunch hour when we're all waiting for our turkeys to finish up. 12:35 p.m. last Thursday. This is what the president also posted out. He temporary protected status officially terminated for all of those Haitians. And you guys remember during the debate when David Muir fact-checked President Trump in real time because he was put up to it, you hack. David Muir, what a disgrace. I'm sorry, Mr. President. In fact, Haitians aren't eating cats. Some goofball in some public office there told me, no, we've got no reports of people eating cats. Well, except the driveway video of the Haitian woman who's going eating a cat and looking up with blood dripping off of her face when a police officer comes by and his body cam catches it. Other than that, we've got nothing. Well, there are a few Haitian immigrants have settled in this country under Joe Biden's auto pen. 350 freaking thousand. How many of those people do you think are receiving benefits? We were told none. Not one. Not a single one, said Hakeem Jeffries. That's fake news, he said. Really? Can you guys imagine how much more money these programs are going to have when we stop giving it away to the world's other people? 350,000 Haitians, their temporary protected status axed. Happy Thanksgiving. Now you have to leave the country by February 3rd or face deportation and a lifetime ban. If you listen just so carefully, that's the sound of Springfield, Ohio right now, cheering that there's a president who identifies what has happened, the invasion. And then on Thanksgiving came this bomb from President Trump's Truth account. My page is loading. It's taking forever to. Here is what he said. Even as we have progressed technologically, immigration policy has eroded those gains and living conditions for many. I will permanently pause migration from all third world countries to allow the U.S. system to fully recover. We will terminate all of the millions of Biden illegal admissions, including those signed by Sleepy Joe's auto pen, and remove anyone who is not a net asset to the United States or is incapable of loving our country. We will end all federal benefits and subsidies to non-citizens, right? We will deport any foreign national who is a public charge, security risk, or non-compatible with Western civilization. I'm going with eating cats. That's kind of non-compatible with my neighborhood vibe where I live. I don't know about you. His truth continues. These goals will be pursued with the aim of achieving a major reduction in illegal and disruptive populations, including those admitted through the unauthorized and illegal auto pen approval process. Only reverse migration can cure this. Happy Thanksgiving to all. Well, hot dang. That's exactly what I voted for. So then there's this, Tom Homan. He says, you know what? Gloves are off. Dam is broken. We are done. I'm telling you, this changed. The speed with which this seriousness changed when Sarah Beckstrom died at the hand of an Afghani. This is what Tom Homan said about deporting everyone from third world countries like Afghanistan. It's not making noise.
Understand, in these third world nations, they don't have systems like we do. So a lot of these Afghanistans, when they did get here and get vetted, they had no identification at all. Not a single travel document, not one piece of identification. And we're going to count on the people that run Afghanistan, the Taliban, to provide us any information who the bad guys were or who the good guys are? Certainly not. And many people need to understand that most terrorists in this world, most of them, aren't in any database, because unless they were found on a battlefield by DOD when did a retina scan and did some biometrics there, unless you're part of a T3 undercover investigation, we don't know who they are. So, and the same thing with illegal aliens, that over 10 million that came across the border in Joe Biden. There's no way to vet these people. You think El Salvador or Turkey or Sudan or any of these countries have the databases or system checks that we have? Do you think the government of China, Russia, Turkey, you think they're going to share that data with us even if they did have it? There's no way to clearly vet these people, 100% that they're safe to come in this country from these third world nations. President Trump's doing the right thing, reviewing every one of these people who came under the Biden administration and drilling down on them. I really, truly think that most of them are going to end up being deported because we're not going to be able to properly vet them.
Kash Patel was asked about the failures of the former FBI under Joe Biden with vetting the millions of foreigners. Do you miss signs? Did they miss signs, Mr. Director? Here's Kash Patel.
Did authorities miss any signs, either in the asylum process or even back when he reportedly worked for the CIA? If you could talk about that.
Well, you miss all the signs when you do absolutely zero vetting. And that's exactly what happened in this case. When you, in the prior administration, made the decision to allow thousands of people into this country without doing a single piece of background checking or vetting, that's how you miss every single sign.
They didn't even try. They did not care. They wanted you to get a shot, an experimental gene scrambler. But it was funny because none of the people coming across our border had to. Did that wake you up? Because it sure woke me up. This is Wesley Hunt, Congressman Wesley Hunt. He says, look, we've got to deport everybody. It's come to this, and we don't care if you think we're bad people. Get out of our country. We do not know who you are, and there's no way to find out. See you later.
Marco Rubio is actually on the right track here. Let's shut this thing down. Let's get a better process. Let's get a real vetting process that passes the smell test of the Trump administration and not the Biden administration. And then also we have to understand that there are 20 million people that entered our country illegally during the Biden administration. We have got to figure out who these people are, find out who they are, vet them. And if they are animals, and if they are criminals that want to harm and maim us, we have got to send them out of this country immediately. And that's how we have to handle that. It's going to take leadership. We're going to get called bad names. We're going to have Democrats that are going to say that it's okay for people in uniform to disobey the commander in chief. We have to ignore all that rhetoric. We have to stay the course. President Trump has been there for less than a year. We have made some progress, but now we have 3 years to undo the ills of 4 years of the Biden administration. It's going to take a Herculean effort, but thank God that there are people at the helm that are willing to take up the mantle and get to work.
Amen. And Stephen Miller says, look, this illegal immigration, this onslaught was planned by Democrats under Biden and is an attack on U.S. democracy.
This was not a loophole. The Biden administration, Secretary of Homeland Security, Alejandro Mayorkas, devised a scheme to fly illegal aliens into the country and then to escort them en masse across the border by the millions, and to give them something known as parole, which gives them a work permit, which gives them a social security number, which gives them access to the voting booth. This was the plan all along, to get them here illegally so they can get free government benefits, get hooked to welfare, and be able to participate in American elections. This was an attack on democracy by the Democrat Party. It's the same attack that we see, Sean, when you have California, a sanctuary state, that is refusing to turn over even illegal alien criminals and gang members to ICE. So these are illegal aliens in California who have been arrested by California police, by California law enforcement for serious crimes, for crimes against children, for felonies, for crimes that threaten public safety, and they are refusing to hand these criminal illegal aliens over to ICE. Instead, they're freeing them back into the cities to offend and offend again. By any definition, what California is doing is criminal. It is a violation of our laws.
And a threat to our democracy. Guys, it's not just people in the administration saying it. People on the street are saying it. And I have proof of that. The cheers from a grateful country next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Now is a great time to see Dr. Dubiak. Now is a great time to get your blood work tested, to get your blood tested. So you get this binder of results about all of these different biomarkers in your body, all of these different hormones that impact how you process food, how you feel, how your gut health is, and ultimately how your weight is managed. Right? Like if you starve yourself and you're not moving the needle, if you haven't come up with the reason why all of a sudden you've just put 10 pounds on a year for the last several years and you look in the mirror and you're saying, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can take it off. I need help. There is help and it works. I mean, we've watched so many people have success with what Dr. Dubiak does, Brock included. bodybyAim360.com. BodybyAim360.com. 412-227-9255. Don't roll the dice on some fad diet, because what works for you isn't going to work for me. We are built totally differently, and your blood holds the secrets. Get your blood tested, figure out what it says, and then get your plan that you can use for the rest of your life. Forever. 412-227-9255. bodybyAim360.com. Oh, by the way, Brock has big news about Sniper. Every order over $30. Go ahead.
No, I was doing something.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do your thing. Do y'all thing. Every order over $30 at disinfectwithsniper.com is going to get a travel size Sniper. This is one that passes airport security. This is one that fits in your bag or your briefcase. This can ride along with you in the car wherever you go. And you want a hospital grade disinfectant. You want a hospital grade antimicrobial, antifungal. This is it. Kills everything. It's phenomenal. It smells clean. It doesn't smell like chemicals because it's not chemically. It's safe for your pets. It's safe for your children and your grandchildren. It's safe to use around your plants. You're going to be okay. You're just going to be a lot healthier. Every order over $30 is going to get one of these travel jobbies. Disinfectwithsniper.com. Our guy, he's paying attention. He's paying attention to you. He's taken on Amazon. So you get free shipping. It's crazy. And a gift. I'm feeling woefully unhelpful.
What?
I was just feeling unhelpful about what's going on in the technical world.
I'm
for
just
you.
trying to making sure something.
Okay. Well, I will keep people busy. Let's see how you guys are doing, and let's see if Bald Brad has helped us. I appreciate the help. Look at 8,000 people hanging in with us. It's great to be with you. We have 150 to go to get to 3,000 rumbles. That's pretty awesome. And already almost 900 on X. So I'm really glad that you're here. Thank you. What's going on, Demots? Hi. Hello, Stag and Otmar. Hi, Darius. What's up, Pod Racer? Let's see whose new names we have. What's up, Demanda? Hi, Ginge and Stephen G. Alexander Petrosius. You're swearing a lot today, mama. Tisk tisk. Hi, Granny. What's going on? Hi, Brenda. Brenda baby's in the house. Hey, Tessa. Good to see you. What's up, Stag and Froggy? Always good to see Froggy. And thank you. What's up, JR100? Hi, Wombat. And Nurse Lisa. Thanks for showing up, you guys. Love that you're here. Well, welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. We've gotten to that point where enough people in the Republican Party have said, I don't care what people say anymore. I don't care if people on the left, particularly your white college-educated, toxic, triggered liberal chick, who is the scourge of our great nation. I don't care if they're upset that we're going to deport all of their best friends. All of these illegals that they literally fall over to give money to give support to do sit-ins to support, right? That they protest immigration officials over. It makes no sense, right? If you think about it, it makes no sense. The Republican Party right now is getting behind Donald Trump, and they're saying, you know what? There is one way to clean up the streets. There is one way, and that is to get all of the people who broke the law to get in here out. And that's not just 20 people, 20 million people that came in during Joe Biden's auto pen debacle of the last 4 years. It's the 33 million who were here before that. And look, I'm sorry that there are people out there. Well, my neighbor, he's illegal, but he's been working at the blah, blah, blah for 20 years. He's a good neighbor. We are a system of laws. And you can't go out and entrap 1,500 January 6ers and make up a fake story about what they did or didn't do and say that throwing them in prison and throwing them ostensibly away is justice if you're going to look the other way at people from all around the world who are draining our generosity dry and allowing them to do whatever they want. I mean, that's just stupid. And I'm not the only one, obviously, who sees it. I want you to hear this woman who has been paying attention. And she's like, look, President Trump is looking at banning green cards and examining the visas from all people from nearly 24 countries, not because he's a bad guy, but because he is the fixer. And this is what we voted for.
Okay, look at this list. 19 countries. Trump just ordered a review of every single green card issued to people from this list here that come from these countries. And we're actually moving to banning, completely banning migration from these 19 countries. I want to know, do you agree with that or not? Please comment here. And of course, here comes all the accusations, xenophobia, anti-migrant, and all the predictable course every single time. And here's something that nobody wants to say out loud, but I will. This is not Donald Trump's fault. Again, this is not Donald Trump's fault at all. This all is happening because of Biden's reckless policies. I don't even call it a policy to leave your borders wide open. He was the one flying people in by the plane load using a phone app, the same way he signed those executive orders using an auto pen. In all honesty, if you don't see this as an attack on America's sovereignty, I don't know what will change your mind. It's easy to point fingers to Donald Trump and America for trying to enforce its laws, but nobody wants to look at the root of the problem.
Listen to this black preacher say what needs to be said.
This brother is absolutely right. He nails it.
There's a reason why American citizens should pledge our allegiance to the flag that represents our nation. One nation under God. You know why the borders should not be open? I ain't running for nothing. I ain't looking for nobody vote. I'm not in anybody's party. I don't need it. I'm free. I work for Jesus. The reason the borders need to be closed is because when you come into a sovereign nation and you don't pledge your allegiance, it's treasonous. When borders are open for anybody just to walk in and they are not required to pledge their allegiance and to give a commitment to one nation. So the first problem when they don't pledge their allegiance and they come across the border, they bring their own nation with them. So instead of America being one nation, we become 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 different nations. And you're sowing division and discord into this nation because the people have never made a pledge to understand that even though we come from every nation, when we're here, we're one nation.
When you're right, you're right. And that just made sense.
100. Can I get an amen? When we come back, President Trump going after the auto pen pardons. Oh my, buckle up. It's next. Oh, I love that guy. That's why we pledge allegiance to one flag, one nation, not and Somalia and Burma and Congo and Haiti. It's not how it works. It's one. So I love that. I thought that was a great audio soundbite for you guys. All right. Great time to remind you about the Disc Institute of Pittsburgh, pittsburghdiscinstitute.com. This is a great place to go if you feel like you're right on the edge of needing surgery for a problem with a slip disc, herniated disc, something deteriorating in your back or your neck, and you're in pain, constant pain, and you're like, it's got to be surgical. I'm going to have to get this thing removed and some kind of a new disc put in, some kind of I don't know. Or you can call 412-906-9600 and talk to Dr. Rafferty's team and see if you could be a candidate for a therapy that allows your discs to grow back, to regenerate, to essentially be fixed by themselves. So that means nobody's cutting into your back. You're not rolling the dice on a bad outcome. What you are doing is signing up for a 98% successful therapy called intradisc neutrosis. It's pretty important. Dr. Rafferty has helped thousands of people. He can help you. 412-906-9600, PittsburghDiscInstitute.com. Brock, do you mind if I run?
No, go ahead. So to repeat, the Second Amendment, the new ones, the North is Still North edition, will go on sale on Friday. Friday. So all week I'm going to say that they're going to go on sale Friday. There's going to be 50 of the originals, the first series, which has the Second Amendment on it. Once they're gone, they're gone. But, people had emailed me and were upset that they didn't get a chance. So Friday, they all go on sale. 50 of the first series, 250 for the North is Still North one. So Friday, they will be on sale on Friday. Trying to make sure all my buttons are working. That's not working. Some of this stuff is nuts. This Trump going off and this auto pen stuff is gonna. What do they say? 90-some% of his auto or pardons were auto pen. That's nuts.
What?
I was just saying all the pardons and the auto pens and how much it's just crazy.
I think we should pull up a list of all of the, like, what are the pardons that Joe Biden actually wrote? He signed his name. I can think of one.
I would assume his whole family.
Let's see if Perplexity can knock it out of the park for me. What pardons did President Joe Biden personally
I mean, he had over what, 8,000?
sign? Mhm. Yeah, right. Let's see.
It's almost like the feeding of the people. There'd be so many signings.
See, personally signed numerous pardons with official list published by the Department of Justice detailing recipients convicted of nonviolent offenses like drug crimes, fraud, and tax evasion. These actions, including high-profile cases such as pardoning his son Hunter for gun and tax charges, and a sweeping December 12, 2024 batch of 39 pardons alongside 1,500 commutations. So the one with all the people in prison, all the people involved with drugs and all that stuff, I guess he did sign that. I don't know. Or was it Jill? Bill 61, Wendy always looks beautiful. Okay, I'll take it. Brock does not. Why does Brock need a raise? Did he just explain to you what he was doing that made him all fussy and snap at me?
Well, no, snap. Just trying to figure stuff out with the buttons and things triggering. And some people say they have problems, but I'm not seeing it because the stations that take us live have not said anything.
Oh, okay. I understand.
So I'll call them later. See if Jason can talk to the satellite company and be like,
what do you think the issue is?
If it's not happening in real time, I don't know.
Mm.
You know, like.
Oh, were you reading that people were having issues with something and you were trying to
Yes.
Troubleshoot?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't know that. On his Thanksgiving holiday, which was clearly no holiday, dude was out truthing, putting out stuff all weekend long. And the thing that I think caught my attention the most, I was like, oh my goodness. Donald Trump is revoking all auto pen pardons that Joe Biden allegedly never signed, of course, didn't sign, which represents, I don't know, between 88 and 92% of all of the pardons that we are told that Joe Biden during the term of his alleged presidency signed or approved. So this is what President Trump put out. This is the day after Thanksgiving, so this is Friday. He says any document signed by sleepy Joe Biden with the auto pen, which was approximately 92% of them, is hereby terminated and of no further force or effect. The auto pen is not allowed to be used if approval is not specifically given by the President of the United States. So it's not just like somebody has a rubber stamp, like you're in a doctor's office and you have an office staff that sends something out and they stamp the doctor's signature to it. This is a whole different ball game. You can't do that in the world of presidential pardons. Auto pen pardons still have to be approved of by the president. And that means there's got to be some kind of corroboration, right? So if Joe Biden approved of the auto pen, if he said, there's nobody who did anything without my knowledge, and yet everybody was like, yeah, Ian Sams at Pencil Neck Geek, who was his spokesperson, Biden's spokesperson for like 2 years, admitted when he had to testify over at House Oversight that he had only personally seen the president and spoken to him twice. And yet every single day for the better part of a year and a half, Ian Sams talked as though, well, this is what Joe Biden just told me. In fact, we just got a sandwich on the way to the Oval and he told me blah, blah, blah. No, we didn't. We didn't. He wasn't available. He was not there. He was on vacation 40% of the time because he was not freaking capable. And they had to farm him out and put him in different places where he would be unreachable. He was untouchable. He was unspeakable. He was unable to be spoken to. You know what I'm saying, right? For a reason. They were running a shadow government under his nose. The same way the Somalians were running their own shadow businesses underneath Tim Walz's nose, except that everybody knew it. I'm not so sure Joe Biden knows anything. So Trump moves on. He says the radical left lunatics circling Biden around the beautiful, resolute desk in the Oval Office took the presidency away from him. I am hereby canceling all executive orders and anything else that was not directly signed by crooked Joe Biden, because the people who operated the auto pen did so illegally. Joe Biden was not involved in the auto pen process, and if he says he was, he will be brought up on charges of perjury. Wow. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Now, this is where House Oversight comes into play. And you and I have been bashing our heads against the wall, hoping that they would hit the gas, that things would speed up, that something of their interviews, of their congressional subpoenas, whatever they put out, all of their interviews, would come to something. Well, they have. They actually have. In meeting with all of these people involved in Joe Biden's inner circle, they've identified that there aren't meetings on his personal calendar. There is no recollection of anybody being in the room where Biden said, yes, you can use the auto pen. I acknowledge that, yes, we agree on that. There are no corroborating records that suggest he had a clue. And so what you had is you had a different kind of government being run, and Joe Biden was completely insulated from it. They kept him probably drugged up and comfortable and far away from questioning. It's so freaking mind-numbingly awful. And Trump says, you know what? We're going to do this. So let's talk about the pardons by president, because there were a lot. In just 4 years under Joe Biden, there were 8,062 auto pen pardons. 8,062. What? Under Donald Trump, 237. Barack Obama, 8 years, 1,920. 4 times more auto pen pardons by Joe Biden than the next closest, who was Barack Obama. Everything else is usually in just the triple digits. This damning report from House Oversight says the Oval Office under Joe Biden was occupied, but Joe Biden wasn't running the show. And on our rundown today, if you're one of our locals members, we have the video, the Oversight Committee video, and the report that lays it out. But suffice to say, James Comer, the head of Oversight, said Joe Biden did not participate in any of the meetings that led to the auto pen signature. He had no earthly clue. Here's James Comer.
It's not the use of the auto pen that we had a problem with on the Oversight Committee. It's the unauthorized use of the auto pen. There was no evidence that Joe Biden participated in any of the meetings where the pardons were discussed. We looked at his calendar. We looked at emails. We brought in people for hours and hours of depositions. There were no communications back and forth. So the legal peril here isn't the fact that the auto pen was used excessively. It's the unauthorized use of the auto pen by a president that was clearly in mental and physical decline, and his administration tried to shield that cognitive decline from the American people.
This is the full committee report on oversight and government reform, and it's entitled The Biggest Political Scandal in American Presidential History. Through transcribed interviews and depositions with Biden's own former senior staff, we uncovered that while Biden struggled to perform his duties, critical decisions were made behind closed doors without a clear chain of command. That included using an auto pen to sign executive actions, pardons, and major policy directives without clear approval from Joe Biden himself. Staffers close to Biden admitted his decline was real. Shockingly, some did not even know who was authorizing the signatures in his name or who was using the auto pen. Others invoked the Fifth, refused to testify, and stonewalled the committee at every turn. It's not just a cover-up. It is the biggest political scandal in American presidential history. And you hear Donald Trump in his most recent tweet about that on Friday, saying, look, we're looking at every single one of these actions because Joe Biden wouldn't do this. The Joe Biden we knew as a senator for many years from Delaware was a strong advocate of legal immigration. He strongly spoke out against the invasion of our shores. Why would he do such a wild about face? Because he didn't know. But you know who did? Jill. Jill and the whole Biden crime family syndicate. James Comer continues. He says, look, nobody could say that Joe Biden personally told them to sign his name on any document. And even if you're using an auto pen, there are rules. There has to be some paper trail that shows the president said, yes, go ahead, use my signature. I'm not there to personally do the job.
We never found any evidence other than the very last person we brought in, Jeff Zients, who I'm sure he communicated with everyone else that we brought in. He knew the questions we were asking. No one could say, yes, Joe Biden told me to sign this document with my name. Yes, I participated in a meeting with Joe Biden where we discussed this executive order or we discussed this person's pardon. No one, his inner circle, we brought in all of his inner circle, some of whom pled the Fifth Amendment, wouldn't even answer the questions. But those who did, other than Jeff Zients, the very last person, no one could say it. Now, we didn't bring Jill Biden in. Many believe she was the one that was making a lot of decisions. It doesn't matter. What matters, Jason, is that Joe Biden wasn't a part of the process. And the Constitution is clear. No one has the authority to issue a pardon other than the President of the United States. The Vice President doesn't have that authority. The Chief of Staff does not have the authority. And the First Lady does not have the authority.
Did you guys know that they brought in Steven Spielberg? Steven freaking Spielberg. An award-winning director, etc., movie maker, to coach Joe Biden on how to do his job outwardly to the American people. Are you out of your mind? The makeup, the coaching, the notes, the Easter Bunny, the X marks the spot, people directing him, all of it. As part of the Oversight Committee's investigation into the Biden auto pen presidency, Comer and the committee, House Oversight, conducted transcribed interviews with several of Joe Biden's former senior aides and advisors. These witnesses who worked closest to the former president painted a disturbing picture of a White House in decline and denial. Their testimony revealed that President Biden's cognitive deterioration was real, it was visible, and it was widely discussed inside the West Wing. I know, shocking, right? Senior staff admitted the president was shielded from unscripted events, major policy meetings, and medical evaluations that could expose his condition. What medical evaluations? And what condition? Because we were all told we were being ageist. Please. Political operatives, including Anita Dunn, interfered in medical decisions, blocking cognitive tests to protect Biden's re-election prospects. That's dark. Witnesses further confirmed that critical executive actions and even presidential pardons were executed without Biden's direct authorization, signed instead by an auto pen. And several aides confessed they did not know who was approving or controlling its use. The committee's findings are clear. Biden's top aides concealed his decline, exercised presidential authority without him, and misled the American people. So I guess that puts Mark Milley and the January 6th committee and Tony Fauci on notice, while this case will clearly go to the highest levels of justice, to the Supreme Court. Most people are thinking Donald Trump is completely within his rights and his legal bounds to declare Joe Biden's auto pen pardons null and void. And that, ladies and gentlemen, may mean finally game on for actual justice. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, in the Caribbean Sea, meantime, parked just off of Venezuela's front porch, President Trump sends Nicolas Maduro a message, and it is very basic. You've got time, brother, but it's running out. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. The stuff about Steven Spielberg, I was listening to some of these videos. It was a theatrical production, you guys. That's what it all was. It was just this wonderful high school. How many times did we say that? It's High School Musical. It's a bad theatrical production because the actors suck. And Joe Biden didn't realize that everybody around him was acting to cover up his own, don't jump, right? He wasn't walking off to talk. He wasn't talking to the air. He was going to talk to the parajumper or whatever whatever. I'm like, what?
He was just saying hello to the Easter Bunny.
How are you? What? And then when the Easter Bunny comes up and he goes, you remember that? He like jumps. He goes, wah. And you're like, whoa, that's kind of weird.
I said to you this morning, if we all agree this is a big movie, is this why Tim Walz was picked?
Oh, maybe.
To show the fraud in one particular place and give that fraud a face.
It's a great hypothesis. I could see it. Hi, 1,100 people on X. I'm so glad you're here. Let me tell you about the Simkovich Concussion Institute. You know, it's weird. People are like, it's such a niche thing to have a concussion guy. Like, how many people really need to see a concussion guy? Well, you'd be gobsmacked that falls resulting in brain injury are a leading cause of death among senior citizens. I mean, my mom died from one. So it's actually quite germane to a lot of us right now. Whether you were hurt in an accident, whether you have a son or a daughter or a grandchild who was hurt playing sports, or you're a member of the military and you came back rattled because of what bombs went off around you or what you experienced, Dr. Simkovich Concussion Institute can help you. And we're not talking about cutting into your head. There's no blood. There's no pain. There's no needles, no scalpels. It is literally one man, his knowledge and his hands, manipulating your soft palate and a part of your head called your sphenoid process. And that's what Dr. Simkovich does. He's able to identify traumatic brain injury, most commonly concussion, because you can't see them on an X-ray, a CT, or an MRI. And then he can move the pieces that have gotten out of whack slowly back into position so you don't suffer the headaches anymore. So you're not sensitive to light. So you don't feel like your personality has been squashed. So you don't feel anxious. So you don't feel alone. Like, bring it to me. Let's go. 412-366-3700. That's the number. Costs you nothing to call. 412-366-3700. SimkovichConcussionInstitute.com. Yeah, Darius, I see you. Yeah. It's a terrible thing. I got some weird stuff going on all over the place here, people.
What day of the week is it?
It ends in Y.
I didn't say that.
I think we only have 2 weeks. I think 2 weeks, this week and next week are our last weeks on N2. So Newsmax will be doing something else. They're doing a whole restructuring of their N2 channel, and we're not part of it, which it is what it is. It's been a great ride. I've totally loved it. But a lot of people complained about that, cutting out of commercial breaks and stuff like that. So you don't have to worry about it anymore. Now you're stuck here. 3.18. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. So over the weekend, I was watching these videos that the House Oversight Committee has dropped. I know maybe I need a hobby, but I want to know what they know. I want to know what they found. I want to get the thumbnail. I want to get the report. And so if you follow on X or whatever account you have, House Oversight on X, it's literally House Oversight. You can see right there on their main page, it says, click here to watch our findings. And there is a mashup of a lot of these videos of Joe Biden's inner circle, the people that Trump would have alluded to circling around him at the Resolute desk, making a bunch of decisions and pardoning people and signing auto pen signatures of the president without his knowledge. And I did not realize that they brought in not just Steven Spielberg, but also Jeffrey Katzenberg to coach Biden on how to deliver his important speeches, including the State of the Union. Also got him involved in debate preparation. They meticulously staged and managed everything that Joe Biden did. And donors, it was actually donors who started asking why Joe Biden was using a teleprompter at intimate, small number fundraisers. They're worried about his raspy voice. They were talking about his makeup, how much makeup he had to wear when he would be seen in public because he looks bad. Now, I'm the first to tell you, I wear it, a ton of it, right? I get it. But this is what was coming out of these interviews. And they pulled out of the 2024 Super Bowl interview. Remember that? Because what was going to be just 3 minutes on TV was going to air in a longer form later. They didn't think Joe Biden was going to be able to make it through. Wait, what? And in fact, Chuck Schumer threatened to go public with a request to see Joe Biden if his staff didn't make it happen. They prevented the Senate Majority Leader from seeing Joe Biden. Why? One could only imagine why. Let's talk about this now. President Trump to Nicolas Maduro of Venezuela, leave now or pretty much else. This is a story from the New York Post. President Trump gave Venezuelan dictator Nicolas Maduro a strong-worded ultimatum as tensions flared with the South American nation, telling him to resign and leave or basically else. This is according to a bombshell report. Everything's a bombshell. During a call between Trump and Maduro, the socialist president demanded that he be allowed to maintain control of Venezuela's military if he paved the way for free elections there. Well, they just recently had free elections there, Nicholas. So that didn't really work out, did it? Maduro also reportedly sought global amnesty for all of his alleged crimes. How is that different than the pardon of Joe Biden's family and his son Hunter, right? We're going to do a retrospective whitewashing, anything that I would have done, maybe thought about doing, or that will be found out that I did do down the road. Check. Why ever would you need to do that unless you are guilty? So Trump's refusal on both counts, no, you cannot retain control of the military. And no, you will not get global amnesty for all of your alleged crimes. He said, basically, you can leave now or you'll be forced to. The pair's talks quickly broke down with a U.S. politician Sunday, lamenting that the ongoing war between the two sides is already deadlier than Vietnam for his state. And this was Dave McCormick, senator from Pennsylvania. He said, look, we have a war that's coming through fentanyl, through opioids, through cocaine. And it's coming through Maduro. It's coming through Venezuela. These drugs have killed 100,000 Americans. That did that last year, McCormick said. That's twice the number of people who died in 8 years of Vietnam and 4,000 Pennsylvanians. The phone call between Trump and Maduro apparently failed to reach some kind of a deal. The U.S. president announced he was closing the airspace around the South American country as America's largest warship, the USS Gerald Ford, and a Marine Expeditionary Unit capable of amphibious invasion just kind of float offshore. Now, does Trump actually have any standing to close airspace? No, but he can warn. I wouldn't fly over here if I were you. And if you look at maps right now, nobody's flying over Venezuela. Nobody's even close to that. They're all diverting elsewhere. Now, what's curious is it's Democrats who are calling foul. Democrats who care more about Maduro and the illegal narcotics coming across the sea to poison our people, to kill our children. And they're howling, saying Trump doesn't have the power to do. He's done nothing except get ready and send quite a message to not just Venezuela, but to all countries that wish to import harm to America. Now, we're done. It's game over. What happens next? Well, according to the deep state, there's a new narrative shift. Trump the dictator is now something quite a bit different. Trump the war criminal? Really? Let's go there next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Interesting developments. Very interesting. Let's see what we got going on here, beautiful people. It is 11 o'clock, hour number 3. I'm going to tell you, Blood Flow 7. I'm going to tell you about it because I just gave it to my kids. Brock has just started something new. It is a Blood Flow 7. It's a Juvenon product that's specifically for men. And I am so serious about this. I have just ordered it for 2 of my sons. All right. It's called Juvenon's Alpha Gold Male. Brock, you've got it in your hot little hands. Brock's been on it since Friday, taking it since Friday. That's what it looks like. It's a special formula designed to help men stay strong, capable, and confident at any age. It reactivates your body's own systems for energy, strength, stamina, and drive. It's a process we call bioactivation. The result is the triumphant return of your edge, your performance, your confidence, and how you look and how you feel. That's called Juvenon Alpha Gold Male. So it supports healthy testosterone levels. That's the key. Helps your body make and use more of its own free testosterone levels, instead of relying on artificial boosters or hormones. And we know that testosterone naturally declines with age, so let it kick back up again. Balances hormones for steady vitality. Keep your hormones balanced so testosterone stays high. Stress hormones, cortisol, stay under control, and estrogen doesn't build up too much. That's where you get the man boobs. That's where you get the dad bod. Because you get cortisol jacking up, you've got your testosterone through the floor. This regulates that and switches it around. Also, boosts sexual drive and confidence. Helps naturally restore sexual desire and performance by supporting testosterone and reducing stress. Pretty big. Enhances strength, stamina, endurance. Helps your body perform better during exercise by improving oxygen use and supporting muscle strength and power, and promotes better sleep and recovery. This is it. Helps your body relax naturally at night, leading to deeper, more restorative sleep. This is a pretty big deal. Juvenon Alpha Gold Male. So now all I have to do is figure out how you get it, because I'm sure it is a blood flow. Let me go to Blood Flow 7 and see if it's on their page. bloodflow7.com/. I'm super pumped by this, because having a formula that's just for men, particularly with this, matters. Oh, here we go. Save an additional 30% off with code Wendy30. Alpha Male is right here. It's right here. All right, I'm going to add it to my cart, and I'm going to, it's a 2-pack, single bundle. You get regular Juvenon and the Alpha Gold Male. Very nice. I'm going to do that, and I'm going to secure my checkout. Total savings, let's see, Wendy 30. You guys, it brings it down to $41.93.
Would you order?
So if I were to buy, so say you and Kate were going to do Juvenon together, you could get it, one for her, the normal Blood Flow 7, which I take, which I love, changes my world. I take it every day. In fact, we had a house guest, and I gave him the rest of my one thing at home, so I have to take this home, Blood Flow 7, and the Alpha Gold Male, both for $41.93. And if you go to Juvenon or bloodflow7.com/Wendy, all of this pops up with the 30% off added to it. I'm telling you, literally, the talking points are like nuts.
I know you asked me how I was feeling, and you're like, I ordered it. I ordered it. Okay.
I ordered it for Ryan. I ordered it for Michael. I think that if there is an added oomph for men, and I'm not thinking that my 20 and 25-year-olds need all of this stuff, but testosterone, estrogen, cortisol.
I actually had this conversation with my brother this weekend.
Without the right balance, right? What was the conversation?
About the testosterone and all that. I was like, you don't even realize all the things it affects. Your get up and go, and not just in the burn way, but like the, just your overall get up and go.
Right.
I was like, it stops you from losing weight, causes you to gain weight if you have low T.
And you learned that by Dr. Dubiek's blood test. See how all of these things are connected.
And what's great is once you start to lose that weight, you start to gain. My T naturally went up after losing weight.
I love Juvenon. I love Juvenon. I swear by Juvenon. I use I subscribe. Like, she wasn't fast enough getting me the free bottle. I'm like,
oh, you guys watch the subscribe.
Right. And I'm like, I need it stat. Well, there you go. I think it's phenomenal.
That's what Jolene was trying to talk my brother into. I'll get the blood flow. You get the alpha male.
Jolene, it's $41.93 right now. Bloodflow7.com/Wendy. It's right there. And there are other products. Like, what? Knock it off. I mean, wow. I won't go a day without it. I'm just telling you. I simply won't. It feels that right. And I can feel it when I work out. I'm like, oh my gosh. If I don't, I'm like, wah. All right, what are we doing? That's the real question. How are you guys doing? It's good to be with you. Let's see, 3.3. All right, 200 to go to get to 3.5. Look at you guys hanging in at 7,900. That's
Someone gave you a
huge.
thumbs down because people weren't getting prosecuted.
That's
and held
dumb.
responsible.
That's not my.
It's
That's
like,
not
yeah,
my fault.
how can we?
Yeah, if you gave me a thumbs down, explain why. I won't attack you. I might ridicule you a little bit, but nobody knows who you are, so it doesn't matter. Let's go. I want to know why.
Welcome to my
world. I want to know why.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wendy Bell, America's anchor mom, fighting for America 1 hour at a time. Welcome to the family. She once hosted a 3-hour show in just 15 minutes. She once intimidated the Electoral College to audit itself. Her monologues are so sharp, they're considered a concealed carry weapon. Fact-checker sites routinely issue her a retraction a week in advance. Even her commercial breaks trend on social media. Her freedom of speech has diplomatic immunity. She doesn't just drain the swamp has to ask for cab fare. Wendy Bell is the most interesting conservative woman on radio. Keep rumbling, my friends. 3 hours of bold truth and excellence. You've just signed up for the WBR Army. Strap in. This is the Wendy Bell radio program.
Welcome back. Hour number 3 of the Wendy Bell radio program is live. I'm going to start with a provocative question. Are you ready? I want you to think seriously. Tell me something good that the Democrats have done for this country. Tell me. Tell me something meaningful that is good for America, not for some subsection that's grifting, right? Not for some alphabet soup agency. Tell me what the Democrats have done for you that makes your life better, that makes your world safer, that makes you feel better. Give me one thing. Because I can't. And look, I'm a relatively fair person. I'm biased as hell when it comes to my politics. I'm a common sense conservative. Period. That's how I view things. It's how I vote. It's how everything. But I can see the other side, and I can see things that are alluring or appealing. Give me one. Because they're against every single common sense thing that I am for. And what I am for is not like earth-shattering breaking news outside the box. Oh my God. It's all rational, reasonable stuff. And when the Democrats go out to oppose everything this administration is doing to make things safe, to make things more opportune, to provide incentives, to bring back investment, to rebrand the USA in its glory, to sell the idea of the corporation of America to the world. And they're all buying, ladies and gentlemen, because they are dependent on you. the greatest economy on planet Earth, they are reliant on you. Tell me, where do Democrats fit in any of this that moves the needle, that helps us produce better children, faster, smarter, more wise children? Tell us what they do to help us invest our money. Where do they think outside the box? Where is their vision of us in 10 years? What's the long-term plan? Because the short-term plan has been to suck, has been to race to the bottom, has been to infight like the ants in the jar being shaken. Let's fight with each other so they can continue doing what they're doing that's criminal or at least certainly undemocratic. What do? Honestly. Senator Chris Van Hollen says President Trump's Venezuelan boat strikes likely constitute war crimes. That's the new narrative. Pay close attention. War crime, war crime, war crime. We cannot compete with the unraveling that's going on in Minnesota under Tim Walz's nose, the theft of what could be as much as $10 billion of U.S. taxpayer money given to all of these illegals who then bounce it back to their homeland to fund Al-Shabaab. Like, you can't make it up. It's like trying to kick yourself in the pants enough. I don't think they can. So Senator Chris Van Hollen, who's the guy who loved the Maryland man, Kilmar Abrego Garcia, and traveled over to El Salvador to have margaritas with them because it was that important. He didn't care about you. He didn't care about your son or daughter who overdosed. He didn't. Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen has claimed that President Donald Trump's strikes against Venezuelan drug vessels may constitute a war crime. In an interview on NBC's This Week on Sunday morning, Van Hollen was asked by the host, Deep State Plant of Suck, Jonathan Karl, about a recent report by the Washington Post alleging that Secretary of War Pete Hegseth ordered a second strike on a Venezuelan drug vessel after the first one left 2 survivors. And basically, they're saying Hegseth said, kill everybody, just kill them all, like he's some barbarian, kill them all. Of course, Hegseth denies that. I want you to hear this exchange before we kind of dig into it a little bit, because what is going on here is very clear. Listen.
Let me ask you about that Washington Post report on the attack on that Venezuelan alleged drug boat. What do you make of what happened there? Do you think there was a war crime committed?
Oh, I think it's very possible there was a war crime committed. Of course, for it to be a war crime, you have to accept the Trump administration's whole construct here.
That we're at war.
Which is we're in armed conflict at war with this particular, with the drug gangs. Of course, they've never presented the public with the information they've got here. But it could be worse than that, right? If that theory is wrong, then it's plain murder.
The first strike is murder in that case.
That's correct.
You're alleging.
That's correct. Well, I'm saying that it's either murder from the first strike if their whole theory is wrong, and I think, you know, the weight of the legal opinion here is that they've concocted this ridiculous legal theory. But even if you accept their legal theory, that it is a war crime. And so I do believe that the Secretary of Defense should be held accountable for giving those kind of orders.
Ridiculous legal theory. What exactly is the ridiculous legal theory? Well, it's that this administration considers the war on drugs a legitimate war. Because it is. Because when you lose 100,000 plus people a year, when the 8-year Vietnam War cost us 58,000, and you are doubling that in 1 year because of drugs, this administration drops the gloves and says, war on. And then he has warned people, Claudia Sheinbaum, Mexico. He's warned Canada, whoever the hack is up there now, right? He's warned China. And in fact, Kash Patel went to China to get the precursors, the drugs that are needed to make the final product called fentanyl and other products. Stop making them. Stop exporting them. It is one thing that the Chinese president and Donald Trump, at least one thing that they agree upon. Donald Trump is cutting the head off of the snake. And Chris Van Hollen is more concerned about the narco-terrorists getting turned into fish food in the Caribbean Sea and the Eastern Pacific than he is more concerned about anybody who's from America and is suffering at the hands of these gangbangers and drug dealers. Isn't that interesting? It's almost like the Democrats are worried about losing something. What are you gaining from that, Chris? Because it's got to be something. You've got to be gaining from the open doors of illegal immigration, because you wouldn't have gotten on a taxpayer-funded flight and flown to El Salvador to meet with the Maryland man, Kilmar Abrego Garcia, if you weren't making something out of it. The payoffs are obviously pretty good. The hysterical claims now from Democrats that Donald Trump is committing war crimes. That's going to be the new drumbeat. War crimes. See, the funny thing is if you don't want to be obliterated, don't get in a boat, a triple motor boat that is known to the United States intelligence agencies on the ground as being a vessel of narcotic trafficking. You probably don't want to do that. Sort of like how President Trump said, yeah, if you're flying around Venezuela, I would imagine you should stay out of the airspace. I wouldn't go there if I was you. He doesn't have to have an order. All he has to say is, I would not do that if I was you. And then who freaks out? All of the people who obviously rely on that drug trade. They need those boats to get across the shore. Trump isn't a war criminal, and he's not doing war crimes per se. He's saying, hey, I've warned you. You haven't paid attention. And if you want to, and it's elevated to that point, we have the details and the proof necessary to connect the dots of who these people in these 22 different vessels were. And I would imagine that the Democrat Party does not want those details coming out, because some of those details might come back to them. It's easier to go on Jonathan Karl's This Week and allege that the president is teetering on war crimes if he's are not already committed them than it is to stand up for the American people and just hope that they don't die anymore. Back to the original monologue. What is the legacy of this president who has 11 grandchildren? It is to create an environment where people are no longer dying indiscriminately, be it by war, by terror, by the hands of illegal immigration, or by drugs. It ends now. He fired the warning shot. People aboard 21 narco boats didn't get the message. So, war criminal. Pay attention to that. That's what we're going to be hearing coming up. Well, it is well past time for Americans to take America back. Did you hear about the goon, the thug in New York City, who's been hitting and spitting on white women? Yeah, he got arrested and then bounced. He thought he was free, but he was wrong. Vigilante justice sometimes is necessary, is it not? Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. It's obvious, Chris Van Hollen, you don't care about America, you care about the drugs. You care about the drugs, you care about the illegals, you care about their activities. You must be getting paid. It's the only way that works, sir. And we all know it's always America freaking last. Always. All of those people can suck it. And in my mind, they can be deported with all of these third world citizens as well. Bye-bye. Get out. You hate America? Good. She hates you back. Good luck in El Salvador. I'm sure there's lots of people who'll be willing to help you there. Anywho, this always makes me happy. I just love her. I have to say, I think she's the cutest thing ever. Look at her. Look how cute she is. Just look at her face. Look at the before and after. Look at it right here, right? Look at her abs. She's got abs back. Look at her arms. She's got biceps. She's got calf definition. That's 90 days. What are you doing for the next 90 days? Looking in the mirror and being annoyed that you don't look good? Well, if you live anywhere near Somerset County, if you live anywhere near Cambria County in Pennsylvania, there is a More Gains Fitness gym there open and ready for you. I don't know what you're doing. MORGAINZ fitness.com, moregainsfitness.com. Kelly Morgan doesn't just help you figure out what's going on inside of your body. She helps create a menu so you avoid foods that are bad for you in terms of not just like sugar and sweets and all that stuff. No, it's stuff that you think is good for you that's not. She helps break all that down. And then she teaches you how to exercise, how to do it yourself. And you do that 4 times a week, 90 days. And people lose 15 inches and like 15 pounds. And I'm like, what? Pretty amazing stuff. Moregainsfitness.com. She makes no excuses. Did you see her most recent bodybuilding pictures?
Yes.
Jeez. Why does she do that? Kelly Morgan sends me pictures of herself at 50, whatever the hell she is. She's younger than I am, I think. Or we're the same age by like a couple months. But except she looks like she does and I don't. That's the biggest difference.
Someone said they like the new mug.
Oh.
Good.
I love the design, like the ergonomic feeling of the mug. Like it feels right. But our friend Gary Varvel, I love that I have a stack of stuff. Oh, when you know, you know. So this is sort of a mock-up. And then on the back side, we'll do much smaller. We'll figure this out. Kind of get the sweet size for you, all black. See, we show you everything.
Yeah, that's just the mock-up.
I'm going to start using it, though. It's better than my other one that says North is still North, but all of the
Brock's
letters
not
are
on the
washed. Now, we're going to make one for Brock. He doesn't think people would buy it. I think people would. 7,700 people here. Thank you. It's great to be with you. Yeah, he was like, we'll make 200 mugs of you and 25 of me. And I was like,
yeah, that sounds about right.
Let's see who would buy a Brock mug. They will. They will. I know our people. They're lovely and supportive.
I'm not saying they are.
Wendy's gorgeous. Well, welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. Sometimes you just got to have a story that makes you feel good because somebody got the crap kicked out of them. That's so kind and loving, isn't it? I'm such a mom. I'm telling the truth. Everybody's got their Ralphie in a Christmas Story moment where finally they're had enough and you become this wild, enraged, crazy person. I think a lot of us proverbially feel that way, though we don't necessarily have the body strength to go after somebody and throat punch them and throw them down the stairs. How about this story from the Gateway Pundit, this creep? Insane video. There's a guy in Brooklyn, all right? A guy in Brooklyn, a serial spitter. Is there anything more disgusting than that? Is there anything more insulting than to be spat upon? Especially if you are spat on in the face. Serial spitter. Brock is so edgy. Go.
That would deserve a throat punch.
That's an actual like hiya. That's where you damage something and they can't breathe and you're like and then you step on them. So Brooklyn serial spitter targeting white women, bloodied and brutal beatdown after quick release from custody. Well, I guess if the system of justice isn't going to work in New York City, vigilante justice will, in a clear display of frustration. With New York's soft on crime policies, Anthony Keynes, a 45-year-old Brooklyn man, infamous for his alleged spitting spree targeting white women, was left bloodied and battered on a Williamsburg sidewalk after two unidentified men delivered what looks like vigilante justice. The incident, captured on video and shared widely on social media, shows Keynes curled up in a fetal position as the duo kicks and punches him, issuing a stern warning to stop violating these females out here. You heard? The beatdown went down outside a hair salon on 6th Street. Though the exact date of the footage remains unclear, Keynes, who sports a large gash above his left eye and a knot over his right, can be heard wailing in pain as blood streams down his face. The attackers, whose faces aren't visible in the clip, laugh as they stomp on his legs and deliver blows to his head. One final punch seals the deal before they walk away. We're tired of that shite. You're making us look bad, one of the men says. Interesting. When Keynes whimpers, I went to jail, didn't I? The vigilante responds, F jail. We're worse than jail. Oh my. The video was originally posted by an account called NYC Scoop. It's unclear how they obtained the footage. Gateway Pundit has reached out for comment. None yet. It comes just weeks after Keynes' arrest for his serial spitting attacks in Williamsburg, where he allegedly targeted white women passing by on the street. Like, what the hell is that? Keynes pled not guilty to charges including aggravated harassment based on race or religion and was sprung the very next day with an ankle monitor thanks to New York's lenient bail reforms. New York Post reports the Brooklyn DA's office is still interested in speaking to any additional victims who have yet to come forward. No police report was filed for the assault on Keynes, according to the New York Police Department, leaving many to wonder if this is the kind of justice fed-up residents are turning to in a city plagued by repeat offenders. Again, brings me back to my original question. What do Democrats do that is good for you? There's no accountability. They open the doors to criminal insanity and then treat with kid gloves the offenders and support them and bounce them and help them, all the while essentially spitting on you, the American, the citizen, the taxpayer, the person they work for. There is no justice, according to Democrats. Only their own. Everyone else, you're left to fend for yourself. But thank God they want to take your guns away, right? This guy is lucky that the vigilante justice he got came in the form of fists and boots. Because next time, I don't know if he'll be so lucky. Does it have to come to this? No. And I don't cheer anybody being beaten up. But I don't remember much outrage from folks in New York City when it was a gaggle of illegal alien goons stomping on and beating two New York police officers and then getting bounced from prison hours later and walking out, giving the middle finger to the cameras waiting outside. Was that the moment you realized it was all an act and that you were paying for it? Or did that come much sooner? Whether it's vigilante or not, the dam has broken and people are done. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, this is such an interesting story. Thanks to the Schumer shutdown. I mean, if that hadn't happened, would we really know how much grifting was going on with SNAP? We wouldn't. We wouldn't have a clue. I've got a little development on the supplemental nutrition stuff that people need that has been stolen and squandered. Maybe not anymore. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. It's cold in here. Is it cold in there?
Mm-mm.
No.
I got a switch shirt on though.
Yeah. I'm showing my naked arms. I know. Usually it's hot in here, and I'm like, I have to turn on a little air conditioner, even in December. Ireland Contracting, 1-800-NEW-ROOF, IrelandContracting.com. Look, don't call Dan. You're not allowed to ask for Dan. Dan is not yours. He's mine. And Dan is coming out to my house, hopefully, sometime in the spring after the thaw. We tried to get him in. I love that he's too busy right now. He's like, can we move your appointment? I was like, you son of a gun. Home exterior remodeling experts. That's what Ireland Contracting is. IrelandContracting.com, 1-800-NEW-ROOF. So if you think about anything on the exterior of your home, this is what they fix. All the stuff from top to bottom, the siding all the way up to the windows, up to the soffit and fascia, to the gutters and the downspouts. You probably need new windows. You need some roofing materials. Maybe you need a new roof. Maybe you like to put in a skylight. Any of these things completely within the purview of Ireland Contracting. They're honest. They're friends of ours. We believe in them. We trust them. Their track record is fantastic. And Dan is their son who does the electrical work, but he's pretty busy. So I'm sorry you can't have him right now. There you go. Hey, I'm putting my flag in the sand.
Can I explain? So why I don't want to put both on the same mug? Because I got a ton of emails asking about mugs that still say North is still North on them.
Mm-hmm.
More than
we have to be able to have space for the
25 to
words.
30 of them.
Yeah.
So we want to keep on the mug North is still North because everybody identifies with that. So like that's why Wendy on one side, North is still North on the other. That's the philosophy.
I really have to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back.
You go to the bathroom. That's why I'm trying to make it to where everybody gets something. And that's the only way I can do it. And I appreciate anyone who would actually buy a mug with my picture on it. But like I'm more worried about getting Wendy stuff out there. This is ultimately I'm not looking for woe is me. This is the Wendy Bell show. So that's why I think the way I think. And, you know, to get these things done, we have to write pretty big checks to get merch. It's not cheap to write these checks to get the merch, just to get it in. So you never want to, I'm just giving you my philosophy. You never want to have too much merch because you put that initial investment. It's an investment out there. And that initial investment goes out and then it trickles back. So it's just a matter of getting stuff out there that, you know, I know you guys will buy Wendy stuff. I do. And I would too. You know, I would use a mug with Wendy's picture on it before I would use a mug with my picture on it. So I try to put myself in your guys' shoes. And that's my philosophy behind it.
Hi.
Oh, you're back. That was quick. Did you
Was
wash
it?
your hands?
I did wash my hands, but thank you for double checking.
Everybody was
Ooh.
thinking it.
No, they weren't. Why would I not wash my hands? That's gross. Let's see what's going on here. We have 1.5 minutes. What's going on? What's the story that we haven't spoken about that you guys think is a big one? It's interesting because as much as the stuff happened over the weekend, not a whole lot happened from last night into tonight. It's interesting to watch what happens when, but you could do a shorter pic. Oh, you and Wendy wrapping around the mug. I love that you guys all have ideas. It's interesting though to see what the parameters of the machine and whatnot are.
Of what machine?
Well, the ability to put the picture on.
Oh.
You know, there's a machine that does that.
Yes.
So TJ Brow, come on now. No, I did not pee on my hands. What are we doing? What are we doing? You guys are so weird.
Yes, we talked about Wall's corruption.
We're in our final stretch of today's show. Remember. We move to noon until 3. Coming up at the beginning of the year, January 5th. It is a huge shift for us, and we hope you do follow along. It's going to be great, and I'm super excited about it. So the Schumer shutdown. I think what that had opened our eyes to has been so important. Isn't it amazing how so many things have to happen? How many ways we have to suffer, or people here in America have to suffer for us to see how many people are robbing us blind? It is so much. Didn't the Democrats tell us never, ever, ever, not one? There is nobody here from another country that's getting money that's meant for American citizens. Nope, no way. That's a big lie. And then you find out it's like in the millions. It's not like a couple thousand. It's like millions of people. When 42 million people in this country need supplemental nutrition, when they need food stamps to survive, I'm sorry, that's not 42 million Americans. That's a lot of people who were brought here, who have gotten really comfortable doing a whole lot of nothing and getting paid for it. JustTheNews.com, John Solomon's outfit has a very interesting study, very interesting story, and I want to read part of it to you. I mean, when you think of supplemental nutrition, right, what are you thinking about? I'm thinking that you should be able to get all of the staples you need. You should be able to get bread and milk and eggs and butter and cheese and fruits and vegetables and meat. You should be able to get life-sustaining nutrition for you and your family for a period of time while ostensibly you're on your back, you're in between jobs, something has gone on in your world, and the last thing you need to worry about is feeding yourself or your family. And so these benefits exist as a safety net, right? It's not a way of life. It's like working at McDonald's or any minimum wage job. It's not a career, right? It's an entry. It's a door. It's temporary. And then ultimately your objective is to rise up the ladder, is to assume greater responsibility, is to bounce out of I'm working the drive-through to now maybe I'm an associate manager. Maybe I am a manager. Maybe I'm growing within the organization. It's not to provide benefits to those who wish not to provide. That's not what the goodness of the American taxpayer is all about. We want to help people who need help. It should not be a way of life. Well, thanks to the Schumer shutdown, we've identified that our SNAP benefits aren't really going to all those things that you and I in fairy tale land think it should go to. How about smokes, vapes? How about booze, liquor, beer, whatever you want? Yeah, why not? Food stamp data show thousands of liquor and smoke shops are approved for the EBT, raising fraud concerns. More than 5,000 liquor stores and smoke shops were approved as retailers under SNAP, raising fraud concerns. This is sort of like how weird it was when COVID hit and we were all standing back going like, what exactly are you doing? And they shut down the mom and pop stores, right? And they shut down places that were reasonable and they let open liquor stores and like Walmart. And we're like, what? We need to keep you drunk and high, addicted, needy, on the take, on the dole, right? Forever. That's how we keep you voting Democrat. Well, apparently not. Food stamps were first issued in 1939 as an assistance program to literally prevent starvation during the Great Depression. 86 years later, thousands of liquor stores and smoke shops have become approved retailers, increasing the possibility of fraud, new research shows. Do you guys remember when they were talking about sugary drinks? This is like 15 years ago. And there was a push on SNAP benefits. Well, you shouldn't be able to go to a store and get like a 36-ounce, Mountain Dew with your SNAP benefits, right? Well, how do you feel about booze and smokes? The longest ever government shutdown, which ended after 43 days of deadlock, thrust the federal food stamp program into the national spotlight as millions of recipients went without benefits, but also laid bare many abuses in the system. Even before the shutdown, the Trump administration planned to crack down on fraud in the SNAP program and ensure any government assistance is used for healthy and nutritional foods, not junk. Oh, God, did they hate Bobby Kennedy for this. How dare you want us to have access to good food? How dare you want to get the injections, the hormones, and all the additives and other garbage out of our meat? How dare you want to get rid of fluoride? What a terrible human being. Really? Why are they so opposed to anything that makes things healthy? Because it's not about health. Please, it's about grift. The One Big Beautiful Bill Act made specific changes to qualifying for the program, as well as a redefined list of products for which SNAP cannot be used. An analysis of SNAP retailer data by the Foundation for Government Accountability, published today, found that more than 5,000 liquor and smoke shops were approved retailers under the program, meaning they can accept food stamps, according to research findings shared exclusively with Just the News. If you break down the data, that's more than 4,000 stores promoting alcohol in their title, and another 1,000 did so for tobacco. So you're getting SNAP benefits to go buy your Luckies, your Cools, your whatever you're smoking, and to get your booze? Say what? Food stamps can't be used for purchase of either alcohol or tobacco. That's the story. However, the prevalence of stores that sell these products raises concerns about the potential for different kinds of SNAP fraud. I mean, come on. What isn't a scam? What aren't we paying for that's going to somebody else? I mean, how many hungry people in this country, legit hungry, destitute, need help now? How many really is it? Is it a negligible number? Is that 42 million, the majority of immigrant grifters? Because we're about to find out. If this president does what he says he's going to do and he bounces all of these people from third world countries, he reviews their visas, he reviews their green cards, and he's like, yeah, we can't verify you. We don't know what kind of person you are. You're going to have to leave, go back to your homeland, and then come in the reasonable way. Do you guys see the video of the guy? Where is he, Brock? In Ethiopia, who's crying under a tree. He's some guy who got bounced from this country because of fraud and abuse and all that stuff. And he's literally crying under a tree because he's stuck in his homeland that sucks, where there's a rogue government running amok, right? Where there is no opportunity, where there are no laws that are being followed, where there is nothing. And he's like, I want to go back to America. I want what I had there. What you had there was open grifting. People don't have to work. People haven't needed to work. It's going to change. And then how about the belly aching when the requirements came out? The new requirements to qualify for SNAP. Should we not agree? If there's not one single, don't you love when they talk in absolutes? Not one single migrant, refugee, or asylee is getting any money from any program in this country, really, then it shouldn't be a problem for everybody to get kicked off of the SNAP program and then be forced to re-enroll. And in order to be qualified and for us to grant approval so that money can flow to your cute little EBT card, you're going to have to prove to us that you're an American citizen. I couldn't possibly do. Well, you have to go and prove that you're 21 to go buy liquor and whatnot. Shouldn't be hard. And of course, now the left is going haywire. Hotbeds of fraud. You don't say. Kind of like Minneapolis, kind of like everything that's been going on with the Somalians, kind of like everything that's going on in Ohio with the Haitians. What's the population where you are? Hey, Dearborn, Michigan, how are the Muslims treating you? Everything's going well there? Is that all on the up and up? Because I'm sure not one single one of those people whipping out a prayer mat, stopping traffic on the highway, literally stopping 4 lanes of, I'm sure none of those people are getting your benefits. So I guess in kind of a weird way, I want to thank Chuck Schumer, because what he thought he was doing was proving to his progressive and rabid base that he can stand up and resist Trump. I know we'll shut everything down. It'll be absolutely horrible. It'll cost us tens of billions of dollars of lost economic progress. But what the hell? I'm going to do it anyway. See how tough I am? Chuck, if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't have a clue. No more food stamps for cigarettes, for your vapes, for your liquor, for your beer. How about we just get fruits and vegetables and meat and the basic necessities so that people who need help for a brief amount of time can get it and then be celebrated when they get off of it. It's not supposed to be a way of life, but for a lot of people, I guess ripping off the American people is. That's why this weekend's developments have been so eye-opening. The president knows, and he is done. The dam has broken. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, I want you to hear a gentleman in his car who wants to tell you why the Democrats keep losing. And it's about an obsession they have, and it's not to the truth. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. I mean, you don't even have to go much farther than 5,000. 5,000. Who's shocked? When you whittle all these people out, can you imagine the literal gold mine? Shouldn't everybody then get a refund? Shouldn't we get a proportional refund to our tax bracket? I would say so.
How about just...
I would say so. I just had to cut an estimated taxes check.
How about we just... At this point, I don't need a refund. Just stop taking it.
Oh, I see. I want a refund.
Yeah, I know.
You're
well,
much
I
nicer
want...
than I
Listen,
am.
what I want...
Then
And you have to love when government says, there's no fraud. Coming from the people who are the least efficient
most
ever.
Fraudulent. Mm-hmm.
Ever. Right? is more inefficient?
Okay, Pinocchio, I believe you.
Yeah. What is more inefficient than government? I'll wait.
Whomever the people are with Pittsburgh Public Works that are supposed to pick up the garbage on the highway and the car kai.
They're sort of government, though. Government employees. Maybe
More
the post
inefficient.
office?
More inefficient. That's
No.
government.
I mean, they are the most.
Did I get everybody, by the way? I think so.
I think so. Did you get Doc Rafferty?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We're also going to be dropping in the new year
And that's when the mugs will come out.
the mugs and a shirt, a women's shirt. We have the 3/4 zip for the men that we did. I want a shirt for women, and it's my favorite shirt. So I showed it to Brock, and then we got the name of it, and we have found it,
Mm-hmm.
and we're going to create.
And it's the same brand as the sweatshirt. So if you love the sweatshirt,
It's great.
it's super soft.
But it's a style shirt that has a lower part that's sort of tighter, and then it kind of has fabric out to your arms, so that's
So you
not
don't have to
tight on
suck
your.
it in.
So it's not tight on your belly, which I appreciate.
I.e., so you don't have to suck it in.
So you don't have to suck it in, and yeah, and I appreciate that more than you know. Ah.
But what we're thinking for that shirt is just a little logo up in the corner.
Nothing big.
Nothing
I don't
big,
want anything big.
And on the back piece. That's what she wanted. Whatever Wendy wants.
And it's going to be
Wendy
probably just gray. Probably just do a light gray, not a dark gray. But I wear mine. My sister-in-law had a shirt like that, and she gave me
Every
one.
day.
And I do. I wear it very commonly. It's super comfortable to sleep in, exercise in. I'll probably wear it to the gym today. I'm just telling you, Blood Flow 7, and get that Alpha Gold mail. I'm telling you, that stuff is gold. It's actual gold, not gold like Texas.
Gold.
It's Alpha Gold. It's so good. Food stamps for liquor. It smokes.
Sounds right.
Can you think of the only thing they didn't sell? They didn't get drugs there that we know of. But
That we know of. Yeah.
bubble where you feel like nobody around you is seeing the world the same way you do. But let me assure you that you are entirely not alone. And when you hear people like you're about to, who just call a spade, they're not deeply entrenched in politics, at least not that I can tell. But their common sense-o-meter is like, blah, 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 right? The only reason Democrats have to blame for Donald Trump is their own doing, their own fraud, their own failure, their own malfeasance. That is what gave birth, this gentleman you're about to hear from, to Donald Trump. So everybody who wants to, on the left, blame Trump for this and blame Trump for that, if you guys had sucked less, maybe, this gentleman says, you wouldn't be fighting President Trump. Listen.
Will somebody tell the Democrat Party to shut their damn mouth? All they do is talk about Trump, 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 Trump all day. Trump in the morning, Trump in the noonday, Trump at evening, Trump at night. Damn, y'all obsessed with Trump. The reason why the Democrat Party talk about Trump so much, because they ain't got nothing to talk to the American people about. They don't have no plan. They don't have nothing that they're going to do for the American people to get the American people back on board. All they going to do is just talk about Trump, what Trump ain't doing, what Trump is doing wrong. what the hell y'all was doing that y'all let him get in office. See, if y'all would have been doing y'all job, then there would be no Donald Trump. But since y'all wasn't doing y'all job, now we got Trump. And I'm hoping Trump continue to wail on y'all ass. Arrest everybody, Trump, that tried to put charges on you.
What? I mean, come on. He says if you'd been doing your job, this wouldn't have happened. But you haven't been doing a job. You've been corrupt. And the one guy who could possibly come through and drain it all did. And you tried to kill him. It's ridiculous. And then there is this gentleman. Well, this gentleman is President Trump. But it's interesting. I feel that Trump is, I think he feels almost sorry. I think he feels almost sorry for Joe Biden. He knows Joe Biden is a criminal. He knows that he has grifted and has enriched his family. And we know this from records from House Oversight, at least $30 million. At least. We know this. But I think Donald Trump truly feels sad that Joe Biden was used and he was abused and that things happened while he was allegedly president that he wasn't aware of, that he didn't sign up for, and that was completely not his MO. Here's the president.
Joe Biden wasn't giving those orders. You know, Joe Biden didn't believe in open borders. He didn't. I've known him for a long time. He was never the brightest bulb in the ceiling, as we know. You can go back 40 years ago and you'll see that. Go back and take a look at the hearings on Justice Thomas, and you'll see that very much. But he didn't believe in open borders and all of this nonsense that they're peddling now, which is why they're not in office any longer. It's a shame. The auto pen was illegal. It was illegally used. He never gave the orders. He never told them what to do. And I guess the only one he signed, or one of the few he signed, was the pardon for his son.
You know, it's always the bridge too far. Someone who gets away with something long enough gets complacent. They get lazy. They depend on always getting away with it. They feel insulated, protected, emboldened even, but it's the laziness and the complacency. It was lazy for the Democrats to even consider the Steele dossier as part of their Russia nonsense with Trump. When Christopher Steele would put in so much ridiculous farcicalness, going back to the whole idea that Trump had to sleep in a bed that Barack and Michelle did, and he had prostitutes pee on him. Like, really? I haven't even seen President Trump in a pair of shorts, let alone imagining him having people urinating on him. Like, really? That's such a bridge too far. The bridge too far. It's Somalians by the thousands descending on one zip code and grifting off of the same thing. And then being incredulous, like, what? No, we didn't. And it's like, that's a bridge too far. Nancy Pelosi being $250 million richer than when she started in Congress, making $175,000 a year. It's a bridge too far. It is beyond your capacity to justify, well, maybe. And it is that bridge too far that opened the floodgates that made Donald Trump possible. There was one way to get 63 million people to show up. It was that bridge too far in 2016. But this president has a lot of work ahead of him, and this administration does, particularly to bring back into the fold young men. I hope you get on it, Mr. President, and I hope you do it fast. Thanks for being a part of the Wendy Bell radio program. Same time, same place tomorrow. Catch you then. Peace.